everybody, welcome to Eden Fractal, meeting number 47, almost a year. Today is Wednesday, April 26th, and I'm here with Eric and Patrick and Perry and Stas and Space Wrangler Joe and Rosemary and Lisa and Marco and Red. We've been having some very interesting discussions, and it is 1 minute past the 16 UTC, so we got to go into breakout rooms. Good to see you, Rosemary, as well. And then, we will go into breakout rooms shortly. I'll just share a quick presentation to recap last week and also the topics on the agenda today for after the breakout rooms. If anyone wants to say a quick hi or anything like that, thanks everybody for joining. Thanks everybody for watching. Take a breather, and I suppose I'll get into that. Hey, Joe. Thumbs up. Okay, cool. Since we're short on time, hey, Lisa. If anyone wants to say anything, you can as well. We're getting lots of nice waves, which is cool. But if anyone wants to be audible, you can be, of course, free and welcome to do so too. So I'll just share real quickly last week's recap and Eden Fractal number 46. We discussed the decentralized media governance model. Thank you very much, Perry, for proposing that and helping to lead and guide that discussion. That video is now published on the Eden Careers YouTube channel, and people can watch the whole thing there. I haven't had a chance to do show notes lately, but there's a little description here, and I recommend people to join the Eden Fractal Telegram chat at t.me/EdenFractal to learn more about what's going on with Eden Fractal. I'll do more show notes when we have more resources and time to do so. And then, there's been so much happening in the Eden Fractal group. So I encourage everybody to join and read and share your thoughts there in the Telegram group. And then on the agenda for today, we're going to be going to breakout rooms in about a couple minutes. And then during the agendas hour after breakout rooms, I think there's just two proposals. I put up two proposals today. One is if Lisa and Duane should be elected as custodians on planet Ike. So I wrote a little description here, and we can get more into this alien world so people aren't familiar. It's a metaverse built by community explorers, and Lisa and Duane are great community leaders building cool innovations. And there's really cool possibilities for alien world fractal consensus games, also stuff we can discuss there. Currently, that has the most votes. Encourage anybody, if you want to make a proposal or upvote any topics to help guide discussions, then feel free to do so. And then we still have some old ones here that we'll delete or remove from the list over here. And then the other topic that I propose is, should someone be funded to improve Eden Fractal documentation? Because we're building profoundly helpful games, tools, and shows that can greatly benefit everyone in the world. And we have a big opportunity, responsibility to help make better documentation. We haven't done it so much yet because there's been a lack of funding, been a constant topic or a frequent topic in the Telegram group. So we can get more into that later as well, but I just figured I'd give a little preview here. Now we're going to go into the breakout rooms and play some Eden plus Fractal. So I will stop my screen share. Also, welcome Jorge. Thanks for joining once again. Great to see you as always. And I will start the breakout rooms. If anyone wants to share any quick thoughts before we go in, then feel free.
We're like a family that is arguing in the car before they go to church, and then the moment they get out of the car and they go into church, everything's fine. It's all fine. Praise the Lord.
Interesting analogy with the church, something to explore. And for real context, there have been some disagreements that we're working to resolve as well that were before the recording. So we will work together and praise the Lord, as Perry says, or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, we can discuss it more soon. But we're a few minutes past the breakout room. So thanks everybody for being here and everything. And I'll open the breakout rooms now and hope everybody has a great time. Hello, hello.
Hi there.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I walked right in on the drama right before. That was pretty interesting. Oh, man. You're being disrespectful. No, I'm fucking not. Well, yeah, yes, you are. It was pretty good, man. You did a great job moderating there, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the feedback. And doing my best. And I hope that we can all resolve our disagreements and learn to work together better. A lot of amazing community members here, and we have a lot of awesome things we could do together. But that's something that comes with people caring a lot about stuff and having different opinions, I guess.
Well, humans are we're basically dysfunctional. And when you put people together, you multiply that. When you put it under stress, dysfunctional comes out, which is one of the best things about fractal governance is, what's not happening is anybody talking behind Perry and everybody. We're not talking behind each other's backs, which was normally what would happen in an organization. So we'd go off and say, oh, they're bad. And then we would get villain stories.
Yeah, what we're doing with Eden Fractal and consensus games can be greatly helpful for resolving all those problems that humans naturally have, cooperating in larger groups and so forth, and also having fun. And we can lead by example in some of the other things too. But anyway, I could say a lot more about that. If anybody wants to share more thoughts, then feel free. Yeah, Eric, I really appreciate your guidance and wisdom about this, as I was saying before we started recording. But yeah, we could also move on to, if everybody's ready. It looks like Rosemary's enjoying some strawberries or something. And so watermelon, I guess. So, and then Jorge's doing good. Or maybe it's a carrot. I don't know if you're showing us, but it's
a carrot or a cantaloupe.
Okay.
It's the orange.
It's a carrot lobe.
It's related to the jackalope. That's what they eat.
The jackalope, what's that? I've heard of that before.
It's like this mythical, it's like a rabbit with horns. It's like a joke kind of mythical creature, I guess, out here in the desert.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I've heard of that. Well, yeah, looking forward to maybe learning more about that at some point. I suppose we should start moving on to the process and the contributions and stuff like that. Is anybody interested in leading / moderating / hosting the room? I'm happy to do stuff you want, but if anybody wants to do it, then that would be cool. Eric?
You want me to moderate?
It's up to you. I mean, there's not much moderation needed, but just to just make sure we're moving along well, and you do an awesome job.
Sure. I was only pausing. I'm only pausing because my computer's mad at me over the side here.
Okay. Yeah, it looked like you were deep in thought. So.
So that was my only hesitation.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and so when I look at the top left, I have Rosemary. So Rosemary, tell us your secrets.
Okay. Well, I don't have like a lot of progress, or I guess I don't have like a lot to share. I've been moving countries and been busy with packing and like, meeting people. But also I've been well, mostly it's been I've been consistent with meeting up with Dan, and we met up with Vlad and Tadas to discuss I guess how we can work with alien worlds, but I haven't really done like I don't have a completion of work that I can present, and yeah, I'm still thinking about it really, about how I can contribute to that, and just thinking about different ways to collaborate. And I guess we've been discussing with Dan previous, and we've made recordings on let's say my first Eden election, Eden and Neo's election, and we've discussed like how my feedback for so far with Eden Fractal and processes, and like what it has been for me for the past few months, and just we started brainstorming ideas on how we can improve certain processes and timing, and just shares feedback on that. So it's nothing like concrete, but I have spent some time just thinking about that. That's my contribution.
very good. Who's next?
Who's next? Dan.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'm not sure if I'm totally ready yet. I was just getting together my slides. I also want to say, Rosemary,
Okay,
though,
I
by the
can
way,
choose someone else. I can
okay,
choose someone else.
that would be cool. But
Jorge.
cool. I was also going to say to you, you forgot to mention Aqueduct too, and I think that's a good contribution that you've been continually participating and helping to lead that group. And you did so last week, and
Yes, I forgot to mention that. I've been participating in Aqueduct, which is Douglas's meetings on Tuesday. That's following the fractal process, and yeah, I've been supporting Douglas with that, and I guess it's been helpful for me to work on my own goals and rebirth, because that's the concept of Douglas's meetings. So yeah, which is called Aqueduct for anyone that's watching. So now passing it on to Jorge.
Jorge. Go.
Sorry, I think you're eating, but
Hello, hello.
hello.
Hello, guys. Very pleased to be here with this honorable and respectable group of big contributors. I want to share my screen. Can you please allow me, Mr. Sinjoy?
Yep.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. It's good now.
Okay, so I'll show you guys the little advance we had this week at the Spanish-speaking fractal. As you guys know, I created a website for the Spanish-speaking fractal, which is this one. In it, I decorated it with this bull and this other bull, which are paintings in the Altamira caves in Spain. Long before the Spanish language even existed, our ancestors, men, were painting the environment they saw back then, these caves. So that's the current decoration of the Spanish-speaking fractal website. This was from the previous, not the last one, but the previous to last one week. But from this week, we have something that all of these communities, and in particular this one, the Eden Fractal, is needing, which is that many people arrive and they want to contribute, but they don't really know how to do it. They don't have a starting point. So we created this task list, which are tasks created by the same community, that any new member that arrives can take upon. So we have some assignees and some tasks haven't been assigned. This was created this week recently. And one of those tasks is the creation of small microsites. Let's see if I can show you guys. So we are creating, for each of the merchants that are being incorporated into the Spanish-speaking fractal, we are creating a microsite. So each merchant has its little site that links to his actual site. So we have, for example, this merchant that has this site, and she is promoting her honey products and ghee. This is butter from, well, this is ghee. This is butter from, this is peanut butter that she is producing artisanally. Well, I don't know how to say in English. She also produces pollen and honey. And the good thing is that if you go to any of the subsites, for example, if you go to pollen, you can see an information about the the product, technical, and you see also the price, which, as you guys can see, has a mixed payment option. You can pay in respetos, which is the respect token of the Spanish-speaking fractal, and also the Colombian pesos, which is the fiat version of Colombian, well, it's the Colombian fiat version of dollar. So that's what we are doing. We are in need of actually developing the smart contract, because currently the respetos are still being accounted in a spreadsheet in Excel, just as the Genesis Fractal did some time ago. And I'm having quite of a challenge creating the smart contract. So if possible, we will need some help in that front. And aside that, I think that's enough for me to say for today. I'll stop sharing the screen, and thank you very much.
And who's next?
And next, I'll give it to Mr. Westwright.
Cool. Well, as you know, my goal is to facilitate what we're doing here in an R&D environment, move it over we can to the sandbox, which is Alien World. So the first thing there is I made some changes based on some discussions with Duane and others on the basic functionality of the Center for Governance, still trying to get that approved. Maybe the impact, what we're talking today about getting Duane and Lisa in will have some impact on that. On the art association, moving it in the real world, I'm having some of the same challenges we had here. I hadn't really talked about this a lot, but it seems kind of appropriate. The first thing that we had to kill with our fractal was storytelling. And primarily there was storytelling about the board and how much villains they are, and talked with the president. We had to work very hard to stamp that out. The problem I'm having that now is the board is now doing that. So we've had lots of discussions this week about the board and getting them on board, and we're talking about expanding that too. So next week I have a meeting with a bigger art organization to bring them in or transfer there if I have to. So we're dealing with some of the same dysfunction. So it's on my mind, and it's not the first time I've dealt with this. So I've got a lot of experience navigating those dysfunctions, but the big thing for me is having to get approval to move ahead. So to do that, I have to write down in something called a prospectus of exactly what I'm doing and when and how I'm collecting data and why does that work and what research has been done. And it's a big, long thing. So I turn that in. So that's with the chairman of my committee now to go over that. And now I have to write a shorthand version of that, which you actually do first, but it was so big, it has to be in one page. And it was just, I couldn't do it. So I wrote my prospectus, and now this week I'm really trying to find down this several page document and turn it into a one-page document, and then submit that by this weekend. So that's what I'm working on. So yeah, today it was a lot of really technical, non-exciting stuff, but a lot of really painful back checking and linking and validating and doing all that stuff you need to do to get this through. So I guess the only thing we have left then is Dan and Joe. Dan, do you have your slides ready?
Yeah, they're pretty much ready, so I can go now if we'd like.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. So I suppose I can start sharing my screen, and I'll first lead into it by saying that, what will I say? So I've been working on a new brand to help promote what we're doing here at Eden Fractal and help promote fractal consensus games and cooperation to many more communities. And I've been in contact with many other communities, actually. So as I'm saying this, I'm remembering several other things I did this week that I don't have in the slides, so perhaps I'll just remember it, but I'll share my screen and show you. The new brand is called Fractal Joy. I am working I've been working on making some art for Fractal Joy, and I also had a meeting with I'm working close with Vlad and Das to help promote their tools that they've been building, and I'm planning to reach out to Eric and Jorge and Joe and many other people in the community as well. But I'm just kind of just starting to first get together a website. So I spoke with Vlad and Das a couple times about it, and we've also spoke with Rosa Marie about it as well, and it was great to hear her feedback. And so, yeah, basically, Fractal Joy, a lot of it's similar to there's a website right now, fractaljoy.io. It's kind of a draft website that I'll be improving soon, but it's basically game shows and tools to help grow your community. I also made business cards too, and I put consensus games to help grow your community. Something like that. I'll get more to it. But then a lot of this is pretty similar to what I wrote previously on the landing page for Eden Fractal, but I figure that it makes sense to have a brand that's more so focused on helping all fractals grow in addition to Eden Fractal, and that is also more like playful and fun and can speak especially to gaming audiences, because I've been working a lot with the Alien Worlds community. I also spoke with somebody from the Upland team yesterday, and I also applied to be a exhibitor for Upland, and I've also been in communication with people in the Ethereum community as well with the Meta Crisis. Kevin Owaki, who's the founder of Gitcoin, I've been getting more involved with that community. So planning to reach out to several different communities. I've been making some art and just writing this to put it together and give a nice presentation for people who are totally new to the whole idea of practical cooperation consensus games, so they don't have to necessarily know everything about Eden Fractal. Of course, I can still promote Eden Fractal, and I still plan to very much, but there's this stuff. I'm going to improve the art as well, and also I'm going to just refine some of this writing. But that's kind of one of the main things I've been working on to put this new website. And one of the reasons why I've been doing this is because I'm at the Consensus Conference right now in Austin, Texas. It's one of the biggest Web3 conferences. So I made a lot of arrangements to go here and join and spread the word about what we're doing at Eden Fractal and Fractal Joy. So I spoke with a bunch of people yesterday, and I met a bunch of great people. The EOS Network Foundation hosted an event yesterday, so I joined there and I met a lot of people in the EOS community for the first time, as well as Telos and Wax and all sorts of other communities, and Ethereum too. So that's been really cool. I'm going to continue to advocate and network and build relationships and so forth. Then I suppose related to that too, I made this proposal. I've been working quite a bit with the Alien Worlds community. I had a conversation. I've had a couple conversations with Michael, who's the founder and lead developer of Alien Worlds, and he's interested in helping with Eden Fractal and in collaborating with Alien Worlds. And so I've been having a lot of conversations with Lisa. Lisa kind of started this new idea called the EOS ship that I've been working with her on, where it's like the EOS community is helping with the Alien Worlds community and so forth. So I put together this proposal to where should Lisa and Duane be elected as custodians for Planet Ike and Alien Worlds. And there's a lot of really exciting collaborations. I think this can help solve a lot of problems and help us start up an Alien Worlds Fractal 2, which is a really great growth opportunity, and go more into that later. I've been curating. I haven't changed anything with this week, but if anyone wants to learn more about that, that's at edencreators.com/Alien Worlds Fractal, where you can watch a lot of videos that we did with Duane, who's been hosting the meetings in the past, and all sorts of other cool stuff that we've done together. So there's a lot of things that are going on there as well. And then I've also been working on, well, I made this proposal if somebody should be funded to improve Eden Fractal documentation, and then I wrote a bit about this, about why it's so hopeful, which I explained before. And then I also reached out to Jorn in the Eden Fractal Telegram group to ask if he'd be interested in doing that, and mention how we could mention why it'd be helpful and the cool features that he's using to make it really easy for people to learn about it. I think this could be helpful for all fractals. And then also I put some suggestions about how we can aim to raise funds for people like Jorn and for everybody in the community who's doing really great work too. And also you too, Jorge. I remember you mentioning that it'd be helpful to have more developers helping with what you want to do. So I would love to help raise funds for everybody. And so I've been working on that a lot. Then I also just shared a bunch of messages in the Eden Fractal Telegram group too. I only copied a couple of them because I just shared them really quickly. But there was just a whole bunch of messages I shared there that you can check out at t.me/EdenFractal. But that's basically it. And I'm excited to share more about Fractal Joy soon. I think that's probably been more than 4 or 5 minutes. So my apologies for going a bit long. Hope everybody enjoyed, and happy to answer any questions and pass it on to Space Wrangler Joe.
All right. Well, fortunately for us, you went over a little bit. I'm definitely going to go under. I didn't get much done as far as contribution goes. Last week, I was working at Coachella, and then I'm out on site here at Joshua Tree trying to get this tree in the ground. I was able to meet with Eric's group, not the last time, but the meeting before, that was really interesting and good. I kind of got a feel for a little bit more about what it is, who the members are, and how it works. I missed the Aquadac, so I'd love to follow up with that. So really, kind of my only contribution is actually being here today. But I'm really excited to hear all the stuff. I've got questions for Jorge, and I got questions for Dan. I think that's great. You reached out to the Upland team and all that, so I'd love to hear about that. I'm currently waiting for a foreword from the founders for a book that I co-wrote with this author about Upland, actually. So I'd love to hear about your experience. And yeah, so that's about it for me. Should be well under the 5 minutes.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, I'll just briefly respond to that. So yeah, thanks so much for being here. That's a huge contribution and really appreciate that. And then as far as Upland, I just applied so far, and then I spoke with Danny, who I think is she's like the head of product or something like that. I don't remember, head of business development, and we're gonna keep in touch. But I'm gonna reach out more though. I'm really excited about working with Upland in the future more. And I also listened to a couple podcasts too about it this week as well.
Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely, super exciting.
That's great. That's great. You got a booth. I'm trying to work out. I have a ticket to go to that event that you're referring to. But it's also depending on my daughter's plan. If I can, I'd definitely love to go support you there in any way that I can as well.
Cool. The beginning of the audio broke up a little bit.
If you're turning Fractal Joy into a business at any point, I would love to be part of that. That fits right into what I'm trying to do, is establish an organization that is sustainable and resilient and provides value.
Awesome. Yeah, I would love to collaborate with you, Eric. So let's definitely talk about this. I actually wrote down in my notes a couple of times, like reach out to Eric and Jorge in particular, because they're both doing awesome work. So if you're interested, Jorge too, and I know I'm sure you're busy too, but I'm happy to help however I can. And then yeah, Eric, very excited to collaborate with you about that. So let's follow up and discuss that more.
Sure, anytime.
Sounds great.
Anybody have any questions for anyone else?
Yeah, I do. I have questions for. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Please. Okay, thank you. This is a question for Mr. What's right. So you said you were doing some storytelling. Was it about the story of EOS or storytelling about what? Just out of curiosity.
I'm not sure what which part you're talking about, because there's the Eden part, the Center for Governance part.
Okay.
And then well, the big thing was it wasn't that I was doing storytelling, I was doing the opposite. We were killing stories. Because what happens is when we look at people, we tend to tell stories. So a path to action says something happens, you tell a story based on that, you get an emotion, and then you act like that story is true. For example, I don't want to take a lot of time, just imagine we're driving down the freeway and somebody comes driving past us and they're changing lanes back and forth and they're going way fast and safe. What do you think of that person? Most of us think that person is dangerous, they don't care about other people, they're jerks, and that's a story we tell, so we get angry. Maybe we even flip them off or we report them. But if I give you one more piece of information, that sitting in the passenger seat is an adult holding a bleeding baby, well, that changes the whole thing. So typically we tend to tell stories based on facts that aren't in existence. So we've just said you can talk about facts and what you think it means, but you can't, one, talk about people's intentions, and you can't make them into a villain artificially. And so we spent a lot of time working on that with the volunteer group. but now I started working with the president to say we have to kill that with the board because the board's doing that now. You know, when we were first there, it's like the board is evil. They don't care about us. They're doing their own thing because they took some real facts, but they implied intent and things. So we spent, you know, weeks weeding that out. So I only brought it up because the same thing can happen here. But I said that one of the advantages of this methodology is that our talking is right here. So the villain stories come when groups get together, you know, by themselves and make somebody into a villain. If you look at our political system, we've got two sides both telling villain stories about each other, and that's all they care about. Maybe that's too much information. Hopefully that answers your question.
Pretty much, yeah. Thank you. Super interesting. I also have a question for Dan, which is related to your time management. I see you all over the place doing so many things. I wonder if you have a special strategy for your time management.
Yes, I do. I mean, you're definitely right that I'm all over the place doing a lot of different things. Yeah, I mean, basically, there's a strategy to help people cooperate with these fractal consensus games and all the cool stuff that we're doing as much as possible to make the best experience possible. So I optimize all my time to make the best experiences possible, and I think that focusing on doing this is the best way to do that. So I focus both on helping the Eden Fractal community and the Aqueduct. I also participate in Aqueduct too. I forgot to mention that. And all the current communities that are currently working together. And so I focus on my time directly on just helping, just help as much as I can here. And then also I'm reaching out to new communities too. And I've identified 5 different communities that I think are really helpful to reach out to. I shared a bit about it in my last breakout room last week, but basically Upland and Alien Worlds, I think are 2 super exciting opportunities because I think that it makes a lot of sense for us to lean into the idea of consensus games. And these are huge communities that are closely aligned with our community and the EOS community and the West community, and lots of members like Joe and Eric who are familiar with them, and myself too. And so I think that it's a great growth opportunity to focus on these Web3 games and help promote it as games, because I think that's really attractive to people, and it can share the playful message and also like be a good entryway to help people understand all the benefits. And then reaching out to the Ethereum community, I think, is also really helpful as well. So one of the things I have to mention is I also applied for a Gitcoin grant for the meta crisis community, which is, I mentioned Gitcoin, but they're working on like solving the world's problems, basically, like helping address coordination failures, helping people cooperate, creating public goods and stuff like that. So they're very aligned in terms of what they're interested in doing in the world. And like, I think that what we're doing at Eden Fractal can really help what they're looking to do with. So I think there's a lot of great collaborators. So that's kind of been my main 3 communities to reach out to, as well as coming to consensus. I was able to, it's the first time I met a lot of people in the EOS community. So I've been speaking with people in the ENF, who I think also there's great collaboration opportunities with ENF and the EOS community, and also Telos and all these different communities as well. So that's kind of been maybe a bit of a longer answer than you're asking for, but that's kind of like an overview of my strategy of how I'm allocating my time according to those priorities.
Thank you. Thank you. It would be awesome if you could share some of you, because you are one of the most productive guys around the whole EOS ecosystem. And you're not a developer, but you're still always pushing the boat. So and it'll be pretty interesting to see how you organize your day. Like, really, you seem to me like you never sleep.
If you want to talk for time management, that's one of my passions, fact. Creating a time management class with somebody else. So love to talk about that subject if you want some later time.
Sure.
Anything else?
I'd love to talk about it as well.
I'm done with my questions. Thank you, guys.
Anybody else questions for anybody?
Thank you, Jorge.
Yeah, I have a question for Jorge. I think it's really great that you're creating that list of things that people can do, and I think that's I was reading this morning some of the there's like a question about Eden, how you got introduced, what you think of it, that type of thing. I forgot the exact question, but I was reading a lot of the responses, and a lot of the response was, about clarity and what is the purpose, what am I here for, what am I doing, and it was talking about, losing members or inactive members and that kind of thing. So I think like your group coming up with, hey, this is what we can do, and new people, here's a list of ways that you can contribute right off the bat. So I guess my first question is, what I can't read Spanish very well and not very quickly, so I got the micro websites, which I think is great. So I have just a question about the list, like what is it real briefly, and then also it's respect tokens and EOS that is going to be able to purchase these items. I just kind of want to understand more of the mechanics of actually, like, when this thing is up and running, or if it is already, I don't know. How will it actually function?
Great. So you have two questions. The first one regarding the list of tasks. Let me check it. I have it right here. So we have a weekly meeting, a virtual meeting, just as the one we are having right now. One person is responsible for organizing that task, just as Dance Enjoy does here. But we have a more distributed role there. One person is responsible for creating the meeting. We don't have a paid subscription for Zoom, so we are pretty much using a university student's account to use that. One person is responsible for that. Another person is responsible for actually moderating the meeting. That person is me. Another person is responsible for creating a document, a written document of what was discussed in the meeting. So those are different tasks that different people can take upon. Another person is responsible for creating or giving examples of possible microsites within our Notion site. That person is Laurita. We are aiming to find a person. I think we found one just last night who is going to be responsible for Twitter. We need another person to do an audition to audit basically the audiobook that we created. We created an audio Spanish version of the More Equal Animals book, but we need to audit it in order to be sure it's right on good. So those are the immediate micro tasks that we have. And regarding the tokenomics, or the way merchants are operating, well, each merchant can decide what percent of his product prepayment he will accept in Respeto. So, for example, you have a honey jar that, let's say, costs $10. So the merchant, the seller, can decide to accept 20% of those $10 in Respeto, and the rest, the remaining 80%, to just accept them in the usual Colombian pesos, and the same for every other Spanish-speaking merchant. So it's up to the merchant to decide what percent of the payment he's going to accept in Respetos, if that answers your question.
Yeah, it sure does. Sure does. That's great. And then this isn't really a question, but I just wanted to let Dan know I'd love to help out with some of the artwork for your new Fractal Joy. So if you want to reach out at any point and kind of give me some stuff, I'd love to contribute towards that as well.
Awesome. That'd be amazing. Thank you so much, Joe. I'll reach out to you about that, and looking forward to collaborating, and really appreciate you offering that. Looking forward to doing that. And then also before, you mentioned something about how you're thinking of going to the Upland thing, the Upland event as well. but you're not sure if you can because some sort of family obligation, I think you said, but I'd be happy to connect with you there if you're able to, or just in general. Very excited to collaborate with you on all sorts of stuff. So thank you very much.
Cool.
All right. Ready to vote for level 6?
I can start up a fractogram. Should I start up a fractogram?
Please do.
Okay, sounds good. I had it open actually, so I can invite everybody pretty quickly, I think.
Are you gonna put it in the Zoom chat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great.
I'll put in the Zoom chat.
Can you put it in the Telegram chat, please?
Sure. Okay, let's put it in the Zoom chat. And I'll put in the Telegram chat now.
Okay. I'm in.
Cool. So far it's Eric, me, everybody's there now. Okay.
We need the reply to.
Yes.
Yep.
It looks like you're in like a cool kitchen jungle, Rosemary. You got fractal leaves around you in the room. Are you doing the fractogram, Rosemary? I think everybody's done it but you so far for the EOS account. Cool.
Yes, I've done it.
Cool. Sounds good. I'm kind of curious, Eric and Jorge, have you tried using fractogram for Spanish fractal and for the art
Yeah.
fractal?
I have not tried setting it up yet.
I don't have a point in setting it up because we don't have a smart contract yet.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we tried it actually. Douglas tried using it at the last Aquadeck meeting, and the Aquadeck doesn't have a smart contract either. He's also been looking into doing the smart contract because he's a developer who's quite talented as well. But we just used it just for the voting. Because you don't need to have the full hookup, and it can make it a little bit more intuitive than the Zoom chat. But yeah, just using the Zoom chat's good too, though. Yeah, it's quite easy to learn too whenever you want to try it out. That's did a great job making great documentation for it.
Do you have a document in your websites for that, on how to use fractogram?
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, the DOS wrote a great blog post that explains it in like 7 steps, and that's all you really need. If you and I can link that again, share with you. And then I also put together a page on my website that has like, because DOS also gave a video overview of it too. So if you want to get more into the details, and then I put together a couple other resources that are about fractogram with more details. But the DOS's blog article should be sufficient if you're just looking to just learn how to use it, and then you can learn it in a couple minutes probably. Okay. I'm opening up my phone as well, because sometimes on my computer it doesn't update. Maybe, I'm not sure. Joe, have you voted? Okay.
Thanks. Sorry.
No problem. Thank you. So Eric, I don't know if you still want to lead the discussion here.
Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Okay, cool. So there's 3 votes for me, from Joe, Jorge, and Eric. I voted for Eric, and Rosemary voted for Jorge. So thanks for the votes, everybody. And did anyone want to share why they voted, or make a case for anybody or anything like that?
I mean, you know, to me, it was pretty clear. Jorge's doing great work. Everybody's doing great work. But I mean, you know, you barely fit into 5 minutes there. You know what I mean? I mean, it's pretty clear. And I think we all appreciate all the hard work you're doing. So it was a pretty clear voting session for this one to me.
Well, for me, I appreciated, although I strongly thought everybody did a great job and love what Jorge is doing. I like the outreach to turn what we're doing into usable forms, and the fractal joy to me can be huge.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the feedback, Eric and Joe. I appreciate that a lot. And yeah, I'm really excited about the Fractal Joy. And I'm stoked that you're interested in helping too. So really excited for future collaborations. And yeah, I voted for Eric. It was really difficult for me to decide between Eric and Jorge, because I think you guys are both doing incredible, and also Rosemary and Joe too. But particularly for number 6, I was between Eric and Jorge, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. But both you guys are doing amazing, so that's why I did. But I'd also be willing to change my vote too, if that would help us reach consensus and be helpful. And I appreciate everybody voting for me. I don't know if Rosemary or Jorge want to share anything, or should we just? Perhaps Rosemary.
I voted for Jorge because the Notion, you know how they utilize the Notion into the Spanish fractal, and now it's much more clear who's doing what, and they can do the micro tasks. That's special, I think, and it's revolutionary into how we can use different tools to navigate the same processes that are in Fractally, but better and more organized. So
I like how Jorge's really building community and how he's putting that community into action. I think that's phenomenal.
yeah, and I think he's not afraid to risk, and he's a great motivator too, and people trust in him, right?
I don't know. I'm doing what I think is right to do, and anybody has to do it. So I think we are kind of a period of spiritual challenge. So it feels like we are doing this for the community. For at the end of the day, I'm personally doing this for myself, for my spiritual path of confronting fear and destroying lies. So whoever is up with me is up with me. But if not, I'll keep going alone all the way up to the end.
So I think Jorge and I are building communities. Jorge's doing a better job, I think. But I think Dan is doing something to build all communities. So that's what bumped it up for me.
Besides, I voted for Dan. So whoever voted for me, if he trusts me or she trusts me, can vote, can redirect the vote for Dan. if she wants to.
If she wants to. Okay. Yeah, I was in between Dan and Jorge because it was hard, but okay, I'm gonna change my vote to Dan. I think he deserves to. Like he's doing this past week, he's done amazing work. So I'm gonna change my vote to Dan.
Okay, well, thank you, Rosemary, for the vote of kind words, and then also thank you, Jorge, for the inspiring speech. I certainly trust in you, and I can also rely on you for inspiring speech that you just pull out of nowhere pretty reliably. And it's not just an inspiring speech, but the message behind it. I think that you're right, and I'm very happy to be working with you, Jorge. Very happy to be working with everybody. But yeah,
Thank you. We'll make it.
I agree. All right. So I can do the level 5 now. You haven't gotten votes from Rosemary or Joe yet.
Oh. Sorry, guys.
Oh, good, Joe. And it looks like there's unanimous consent for Jorge here. I was also swayed and reminded by Rosemary of Jorge's contributions with Notion. I don't know if I had the chance to tell you that, Jorge. I just like the post and stuff, but I think it's amazing what you're doing. I mean, in general, with the Spanish community in general, but especially with Notion too. I think that's really cool how you're leading and pioneering there. And I love that you found value in the Notion tool and you're sharing with the community. And that was a super cool presentation. So yeah, I was also really inspired by Eric too, so I didn't know, but after hearing that, Rosemary again, I was reminded, and that is incredibly helpful. So I want to just thank you for that. And support you as much as possible with what you're doing with Notion and the Spanish speaking practical, which is now newly renamed, right? It's now the what is it called now?
Oh yes, we changed name. It's called the Fractal of the Spanish language. More what's the word? Chic?
Cheek?
There's a word like that, like when something is like sleek,
Sleek.
really perfect.
Okay,
Sleek,
nice.
yeah. Yeah, chic is something different. Sorry.
I know chic. Chic is nice.
Yeah, I've heard chic too. I don't know exactly what it means, but it's something like a nice style, right?
In
Yeah,
style.
neat.
In style.
Sleek,
In-
neat, yeah. The fractal of the Spanish language. Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Okay, cool. I will start up the poll for 4 rather. Okay, and there's 4 votes for Eric, and Eric voted for Joe. So that's consensus. If anybody wants to share their reasoning, then feel free, or we can just move on to level 3.
I'm proud of Eric.
I'm proud of Eric too. Very much so.
Me three.
Me too.
Okay, excellent. Well, they really proud of everybody, and yeah. Well, anyway,
Me
I can
too.
go on about all the amazing things for everybody. Okay, and so Joe has 2 votes from Rosemary and Eric, and Rosemary has 3 votes from Joe, Jorge, and myself. Would anybody like to share their thoughts? here?
I think we need to rally behind the only woman, one of the very few women in this fractal, not this room, but this whole fractal, and certainly the most beautiful one. So for the sheer purpose of what's the word? Chivalry? I'll advocate that we vote all for Rosemary.
No.
Even
problem.
Rosemary can vote for Rosemary here.
I enjoyed chatting with her the other week on Zoom.
Me too.
Yeah, it's another thing Rosemary didn't mention too. I feel like Rosemary didn't she did a lot more than she said, and she kind of sold
That's
herself
kind of what
short
I
a little
thought.
bit.
That's
Yeah,
kind of what I thought too.
right.
I
I think
thought she did a little more than she said.
yeah, she started off by saying, I feel like Rosemary didn't prepare very much. I think in previous times she like had some notes that she said all the things she said, but she kind of remembered over time. I don't know if that's correct, Rosemary. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but you did a lot of great stuff. And then also in general too, like I really appreciate with both of you doing, Joe and Rosemary, and I really want to give you both more respect. And also stuff that Rosemary's done in the past, like with like the Fractal Apple and stuff. There's still a part of me that after we did the Fractal Apple episode, Rosemary got like a 3 or something like that, and I thought it was crazy because Rosemary did an awesome job on that, and she's been doing an awesome job consistently for like 3 or 4 months, like 3 months now. So, so that was part of my reason.
It's okay. I'm happy either way, and I think I didn't make notes that time, but I guess it comes naturally now. It's just part of what I do. So I forgot to write it down, but yeah. I mean, I enjoy it, so
Being that we're running out of time,
time. Yes.
we
Okay.
need to move on to
Sorry,
delegates.
Joe. Sorry, Joe. I'm gonna change my vote to myself. I
No
hope you forgive
problem.
me.
You're well deserving. I think you're just being modest.
Besides, I feel like it's always good to have a male in the last position, just for the fact that usually we male tend to thrive on challenges. So yeah, it's just the way nature operates. The bigger the problem, the more the masculine energy tends to thrive and flourish and become stronger.
Depends on the type of problem.
I think females also thrive from challenges too. I think that's probably true for everybody. I mean, maybe to different ways, but
So who wants to be a delegate since we have like a minute?
by the
I
way,
can
we do have a couple minutes more because we started probably 4 minutes late. So yeah, we can go for. Well, actually, no, because we're supposed to go 55 minutes. So I guess we should wrap up in like 2 minutes or
Yep.
so. So Jorge's not currently a delegate, as far as I see. Eric is a delegate twice. I'm a delegate once. Rosemary's a delegate once, and Joe is not a delegate. So if Jorge's interested in being a delegate, I'd be happy to support Jorge as a delegate.
Yep. If anybody wants to do it, I can also see it my intention.
I'm happy for Jorge to be a delegate.
Thank you.
Cool.
Oh, let me vote. I forgot to vote.
Okay. And we reached consensus. Woohoo! Thanks everybody for the awesome room.
That was very smooth room.
Yes, it was.
And if anybody wants to have a separate talk on time management, let me know.
I want to be a
Yeah.
listener. Time management.
Yeah, I'd love to. And then also the other stuff we said we'd follow up too with like the fractal joy and stuff. That would be cool. I mean, really tight community because we've been doing a lot of great work. We mostly meet once a week, and then we have private meetings here and there. But perhaps everybody in this breakout room should have another meeting sometime this week or next week or something, where we can do, I don't know, figure out in some way. But I would like to. I'd like to meet with you all more, and looking forward to it.
Telegram.
What do you mean, meeting on Telegram or figuring out on Telegram?
Like a Telegram chat or something.
Well, we already have this Telegram chat here for EF47, so we could coordinate in here.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. I suppose I can close up the breakout rooms now.
Bye.
Are we?
Bye bye, guys.
Bye,
Real
Joe.
pleasure once again.
Yes, huge pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thank you all. Was there something you're saying there, Joe?
Yeah, I was actually. I was just thinking about, when I first started reading Dan Larimer's book and all these, issues that we have with our governance in general. I was like, there's going to be problems that occur between individual members. And I think this whole Perry Patrick thing is like a perfect case study for how to resolve things like that. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, good point. It's a great opportunity for learning and growing.
How long do I have to vote? My Anchor wallet is not connecting. I think I have a
Oh yeah, because Vlad's not
node
here.
problem.
Yeah, Vlad's not here, so I will do that action so we can do it. Hey, hello everybody. Hope you all enjoyed your breakout rooms. I just realized with Jorge that Vlad's not here, so Vlad didn't hit the start election action, or I think that's what it's called. So I know how to do that, and I'm able to do that. So I'll do that so everybody can submit their votes, and it'll probably just take me a moment or so to just find it and click the button. And then also in, I suppose, about 5 minutes or so, we can get into the planned topics. I don't know if we have enough delegates because I think Noam and Vlad aren't here. I don't know if anyone wants to reach out to them and see if they can join. I don't have the list in front of me right now of who else is a delegate, or how many delegates we would need to pass a proposal, but there's 2 proposals, but at least we can discuss it. And then if they join, then perhaps we could pass a proposal if we want, or if not, then we can discuss it and share the video with them for future weeks. Does anybody have any thoughts you'd like to share now before we get into the topics on the agenda? Another topic that might be good to discuss is having more people who can do that action that Vlad normally does, so we're not super dependent on Vlad, and also so that because right now I'm able to do it, and I think there's maybe like 1 or 2 other people who can do it on the admin. That's something that Noam had mentioned. There's like an admin with, I think, 4 admins. So that's what's needed, like to start the, hit the start elect button action to enable people to vote. So at some point that'd be good to discuss to make that more resilient and decentralized and stuff like that. And if everyone wants to just give me a moment, then I think I could just do it really quickly. Tadash, did you say last time that it's the Eden Frac test account? I have to do the start election button on both of those?
Yes, you had to hit start elect on both of these contracts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Noam was raising this point when he was analyzing the smart contract into the GitHub. And I was also reading and arriving to the conclusion that, there is a constant in the code. Who are the admins, the 4? Yeah, and that's used by the elect action, start elect start action. Yeah. But that can change very easily, no?
Well, we need to change the smart contract in order to change
Yeah.
that. and that requires MSIG approval. But yeah, it's possible.
I have a question, Tadas. Would it be possible to, when we will have an MSIG more dynamic, that the people that are into the MSIG, affected dynamically, by the way, to take those people, like the admin also of the start elect action?
Yeah, it's possible, of course.
Yeah. Like this, we have a total dynamism into this hidden fractal. My opinion.
Okay, yeah, that'd be a good thing to check out. Also, be good to I think Vlad wasn't here last week either, and he's been at every meeting before that. So I don't know what Vlad's been up to. I met with him a few days ago, but hopefully he's doing well, and we can see what he's been up to. It's taking a while to load this from you right now, so I'll try to just get it going so everybody can submit their consensus. But I suppose we could just jump into the topics without having that ready, and then I can let you all know when that is ready to go, and hopefully that'll be the next 5 or 10 minutes. I'll let you know then. But if it's good with everybody, I can just share a quick overview of the topics that we have. And the first topic about alien worlds, and we have Lisa here too. Duane isn't here, but we can get in contact with Duane. And well, yeah. So yeah.
I'd like to make an observation while you do that, if you want to concentrate on that, Dan.
Okay.
I think this is a great opportunity to highlight how important it is to have all of our processes documented. I think anybody should be able to do exactly that, and ultimately, there's an interface to it. It's just press a button, and if they're let's say if they're a delegate, they get to do that. And I'll bring attention to the fact that in our room, we were asking each other how to, what's involved in setting up, in firing off and creating that new Telegram chat room that we all vote into, and exactly what's involved in creating those individual rank profiles. Is that something that's custom made by Tadas or Vlad? I don't know. Or is that just a regular Telegram bot? How do you fire that off? Small questions, little details, but getting that open out in the open and on one place, and allowing everybody to have access to that information and being able to drive that, like kind of like the way bees, no reference to EOS bees, but to actual bees, the way that they, and ants and those kinds of animals, the way they kind of just assume roles, and they do it almost automatically. I think that's a good role model for us, and that's, for me, that's an observation, that's an indication that we need to go ahead and start going in that direction, and just putting everything out there in one place where anybody can kind of follow. They can read it and they say, okay, I kind of get it. Okay, I need to do this if I want to on this process, and this is how it all works. And okay, I get it. And then they go through it a few times. Wow. Okay. So I think it's serendipity that all of this is happening at this moment.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback, Barry, and I agree. Those are some excellent points there. As far as fractograms, Tadas did just share a link at peak.com with a very well documented tutorial about how to use it, and I can also share a link where I also included the video that Tadas recorded during the fractal meeting, doing a walkthrough, and then some other research about fractograms. So fractogram is very well documented right now.
But okay.
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, all good. Thanks for raising it, and it's something that's good to get out there more and share it more. And then I'll also follow up with more links with you as well if you want to dig into deeper. And then the points about the other stuff, I agree very much. And that's also a great segue into one of my proposals about making better documentation too. So but I see first Patrick has his hands up, and then Perry, you raise it again. So I will pass this on to.
I want to respond to what you said.
Okay, sure. Cool.
I appreciate that we have links to all this stuff, but that's not really the same as we have one presentation that really explains it all. You know, a link to somebody's site that says one thing, and then a video, a link to a video, and who knows how long the video is. That's not the same thing as explaining the process. A website that tries to actually accomplish something, let's say one that is for profit, that's the most stringent test, one for profit, doesn't do that because they're just not going to make profit because people aren't going to join. It's not really, that doesn't pass the rigors, the tests of usability. We need something different. And I'm not laying blame or saying that's putting that in a negative. I'm saying this is where we need to go. We need to take all these links and all these bits of information and these videos, and somehow we need to bring it all together in a cohesive manner, and then say, and then vote on it and say, this is what we're doing, or not. We're not doing this. Right now, what's happening is a few of us are kind of deciding it here and there, and it's not really allowing a decentralized, autonomous organization to operate in that sense. The brainstorming sessions is essentially acting like a set of bylaws. So the guides our guidelines are being created by these brainstorming sessions, which are hosted by one person, and they're done outside of our regular meetings. So what we need to do is we need to dissolve those and actually create documents that we all vote on chain. That's the real answer, guys. So that's the direction I want to go. And thank you for allowing me to express that.
All right, Barry, thank you for sharing your thoughts. I think you're conflating a couple of things. So first off, there hadn't been brainstorming sessions for a couple months now, I believe. And I am creating a document at edencreators.com/tools that's aiming to curate all of this in one spot. And that is something that I'm continuing to refine. And I also, one of my proposals today is to see if somebody should be funded to help with that. And I reached out to Jorn, who does great documentation to help with that. And I agree, in the future, we should also vote on that kind of thing too, to reach consensus. Okay, this is something that's good and so forth, and have it all featured and so forth. But please also be patient, because we need to take it in steps as well. And then please also try to be focused as well too. I've asked you in the past not to bring up specific things with the brainstorming sessions, just because that has been kind of a touchy topic. And so we'll just try to be focused specifically on the documentation itself.
I'm not sure if it's fair for you to censor me from mentioning something which I think is detrimental to the group. I'm not sure if that's your prerogative as host.
Yeah, Perry, we've been through this, and I explained reasons why it's not censorship, and I sent you a long, thoughtful message. We've been through this, but as a moderator, I'm just going to say, and I told you before the group too, I'm the elected moderator, that there's some tension between you and Patrick, and you bringing up the brainstorming sessions increases that tension. And so I don't want to have it like that, and we're happy to discuss this outside of it. But for right now, please just stay on topic without bringing up specifically brainstorming sessions. But I also don't think it's really on topic related to documentation. So since those haven't happened in the past couple months, and what we're really talking about here is the documentation to improve it. So that's just my position as a moderator right now. Happy to reconsider in the future. But for right now, let's just avoid talking about the brainstorming sessions and that whole topic that we've discussed before in the past. And with that, I'll pass it on to Patrick.
Thank you, Dan.
Talk about brainstorming sessions.
Patrick, can I go through this real quick? Like 2 seconds?
If it's 2 seconds, yes, but Patrick's been very patient, so if it's longer than 2 seconds, then please wait your turn.
I was asking Patrick.
No,
Oh,
let's
Patrick,
go.
okay.
I'm giving you to Marco, and I will go after.
Cool.
Thank you.
No comment really required. I just like to retract my support for Perry, because initially I thought he wanted to outline the reward system only for new people. And then he added a bunch of stuff on top. So I just want to take that back.
What support is that? Marco? What support is that? I'm unclear what support you're referring to. Did he vote for me somewhere?
Not sure, but he went on mute, and so I think that we can move on, perhaps resolve that in the future, and pass on to Patrick now.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. I am happy that we are here again on track doing the processes. And I was putting into the chat, like you, Dan, it seems to be, a link to edencreator.com/tools. And I have taken the link that we have put it into the general topic of Eden Fractal Telegram this week, putting some links to show where are the process, how the distribution of the respect is working, etc. All is described. And we have website for that. We have the edenfractal.com and the edencreators.com. All is very well stated there. So I hope, Perry, really that you were going there and reading, because you repeat always the same narrative that we should have a cohesive information somewhere. And we have already that. We have edenfractal.com, edencreator.com. Then there is a welcome guide in creation, now that we speak. Dan is reaching to Giant to collaborate, like he did for Eden Docs on Eden Onios. So, and by the way, it's everyone that can do this this work. And instead to say work, collaborate. And that's all about collaboration. That's what it is, this group. So that's why I repeat always collaboration instead of competition. And yeah, I will stop here because it seems to be that we repeat episode after episode the same things to you, and you are repeating the same things to us. So I just want to say something clear here. I want really that we try to don't be interrupting each other. I am totally agreeing with Dan on that. I want really that we can have a better behavior together and be more happiness and all this stuff. So I retain what Jorge said on the last Eden Fractal 46. That was great intervention. About the Steve Jobs and the customer and the product. I think here we are a group that are working each week to improve the processes. And about the brainstorming session, yeah, I was doing a pause because I was thinking that's no more the point to do brainstorming session because we have all the tools here. And now it's the time to take all those tools and do nice documentation. That's what he's doing, Dan. Shout out to you. And to others here like Tadas and Rosemary that joined recently. And I decided to, as you know, there is an Eden Fractal update number 6 coming on May 23rd. Our 6th update in a row, every 2 months seems to be. And there will be Tadas, there will be Dan, there will be me, and there will be someone surprise, you will see. And the brainstorming session, I just want to say, my idea is to restart that and to brainstorm on things that matters here, like the MSIG. Tadas is elected in my room delegate. I love it. I will not speak for you, Tadas, not put word into your mouth, but about the MSIG, you are very interested to do the things more dynamic for sure. And yeah, the brainstorming, it's an episode that is not into Eden Fractal, that's outside, but that's help Eden Fractal. And that's published, by the way. And that's tweeted, by the way. And that's give a lot of visibility for Eden Fractal. I don't know, Dan, what you think about that. Seems to be that you are inclined to join again. Tadas also, Vlad also, and others. So I just say that, and I stop here. Thank you.
Yeah, Patrick, I'm very excited about it and looking forward to collaborating with you in the next brainstorming sessions. We are 20, I see Jorge's clapping, great to see. We are 20 minutes past the top of the hour, and we haven't gone into it because of the technical issue. And I'm still having issue there. So what I suggest is everybody just writes their consensus results in the live chat, and then once I get that set up, then we can be able to do it, and hopefully I'll be able to do it by the end of the meeting. But just for now, before anybody has to leave at any point, if anybody could just write down their consensus results of 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, or how many people were in the room, as well as the delegate that you chose for your room in the Telegram, then I think that would probably be the next best step to do. And then I'll let you know when I can approve this, and I'll also contact Vlad to improve that as well. And then, yeah, it's also, let's get on track with the proposed topics that we discussed. I have a presentation that I'm ready to share, so I'll share that momentarily. I see Perry has your hand up. So Perry, I'll pass on to you, but please also try to keep it relatively short if you're able to, because I would like to get to these topics that were proposed on the consortium on the agenda system, being that we're already 20 minutes past the top of the hour.
Well, I wanted to respond to Patrick regarding the brainstorming sessions, but since I'm being censored, I'll just allow you guys to listen to silence.
Okay. And yeah, Perry, we can also follow up with that too, because when you first made a claim that I was censoring you back a couple months ago, I provided a very thorough definition of the definition of what censorship is, and I don't believe that this qualifies as censorship. So I would certainly disagree with your with the way you describe it. But anyway,
Patrick can talk about brainstorming sessions, but I can't respond to them. Okay.
No, so as I was saying, I think we should focus more on the topics that are at hand. I mean, the brainstorming sessions are a valuable proposition too. So, I mean, it's cool if people want to share a quick announcement and so forth to let people know. But in general, I think that we should just more so focus on the topic at hand. If we want to talk about the brainstorming sessions more in detail, then please feel free to make a proposal and we can discuss it more next week. Or topic proposal rather. And we can discuss here and there, of course, too. We don't have to be like super strict, but it's just that we're 23 minutes past the time. So I just want to make sure we get to the topics. So I think the topics that we have on the agenda are super exciting today. I'm really excited to share. So if it's cool with everybody, then I will jump into the quick presentation now to show the topics on the agenda. And I think that I will, one second, please. And I think maybe we'll just show a quick overview of both the topics on the agenda because they're quite related. So I'll just give a presentation for a couple minutes just to show everybody the ideas here, and they're also quite related to what we're talking about as well. So yeah, starting a bit late with the agendas game, but of course everybody can post topics for anything each week on Consortium. Everybody knows that, I think, who's here and watching. 2 topics that are proposed on today. I proposed 2 topics earlier today. Sorry for posting kind of late. I wanted to start posting them a lot earlier, but it's just been super busy, but excited to share them with you. Everybody can feel free to make topics earlier throughout the week if you'd like to. I encourage everybody to do so. And I appreciate people like Perry making topic proposals very much last week. I thought that was awesome, Perry, that you helped lead that discussion, and it was very inspiring. And also Tadasa, many others have done that as well too. But anyway, the 2 topics that I have on the agenda today that I propose are, these are actually proposals. One is, should Lisa and Duane be elected as custodians on planet Ike in Alien Worlds? If anybody's not familiar, Alien Worlds is a metaverse built by a community of explorers. It's the most, or one of the most popular games in Web3, depending on how you count it. And Lisa and Duane are great community leaders. Lisa's here today. Duane was here last week. They're creating very exciting innovations on Ike, which is Planet Alien Worlds. And I think this election, it happens every week. This election can really help everyone make the best experience possible with Alien Worlds practical consensus games. That's the one that is on the top agenda because somebody voted for that with 1,000 Eden. And then the other topic is, should someone be funded to improve Eden practical documentation? So I was very inspired by Perry's messages in the Telegram chat, as well as our discussions last week and all the things we've been doing to make this proposal. And I've been thinking about this for a while. So I wrote, Eden Practical is creating profoundly helpful games, tools, and shows that greatly benefit everyone in the world. And as a community of volunteers working with state-of-the-art technology that's quite complex in many cases, we haven't yet had sufficient resources to clearly explain all of our process and help everyone understand the immense benefits of practical cooperation. We have an enormous opportunity and a responsibility to create benefits for all by creating our documentation, and we can express our opinions as proposals, suggestions, and recommendations to respect people who are doing help work, and people can choose to fund them if they respect our opinions, which is kind of related to what I mentioned with Alien World. I suppose I could just show the tools article that we were talking about before. So I've been working on this page, edencreators.com/tools, which I think I presented a couple weeks ago, so I won't go too into detail, but I encourage everybody to look at it. I appreciate Patrick reading it this week and sharing many messages in the Telegram chat, sharing some of the different quotes from it about respect and so forth, helping to answer some great questions that Perry brought up. But yeah, basically on this site, I'm aiming to just provide an overview of the apps and the games and all the cool things that we're building here and how it works, and then more details about all of the games like Eden plus Fractal and Agendas, and the Fractal app that Vlad is building, and Fractogram and Furman that Tadas is building, as well as many other builders in the community, and then a bunch of other resources like the welcome guide, how proposals works, and how to start election, and all the stuff we're talking about today. And I think that this is a really high priority, as I mentioned in there. There's kind of an early work in progress. I mean, I've worked on it for many, many hours, but it can certainly be improved much more. Oh, and something I should have brought up too is Jorn's work as well. Well, I shared a message to Jorn just yesterday in the Eden Fractal chat. Jorn did great work that I think was highly encouraged by Patrick for the Eden on EOS elections, where he did it with an app called Gitbook. And actually, I can't sign in right now, but you can just take my word for it, and perhaps I can edit in the video later. But he did great work with a Gitbook documentation. I don't know why I have to sign in. Previously, I didn't sign in, but it just makes it really easy to see it. And so I think that could be a great way to fund somebody like Jorn or somebody like myself or somebody, whoever's interested to do more work on the on these kinds of articles and welcome guide. Of course, they can write it however they want, and I agree with what Perry's saying. We could vote on it, but first step is just to get it out there. And I think that this AI lens tool is really cool too, because basically people can just ask a question. This Gitbook tool, people can ask a question, then the AI can make it really easy to answer the question based upon that. So that's the tools part. And then I see Patrick give your hand up. If you want to jump in and share something with the tools, you can, or I can also share just a high level overview of the Alien Worlds proposal too, because that one actually had more votes too. I suppose I can just go ahead with this unless you want to jump in right now, Patrick, but I'll just be another minute or so to introduce the Alien Worlds. What do you think?
Yeah, thank you for the TP40. What is the topic that you have made? Topic for about the documentation. It's topic 40.
Yes, it's 47. Should someone be funded to improve the infrastructure?
I love it. I love it. That's very needed because as you see here, what is written, we have the documentation, but we have to improving the documentation and we have to collaborate together. So I have an announcement here because I was stating that into my room with Tadas and Perry and with Lisa and with Mackenber Sparrow. So I will say that here into the main room, that's appropriate. I will do next week because Pomelo distribution is coming on next week. I have received a good amount for Pomelo season 5. And that's thanks also to be into Eden Fractal that I received all this attention. So what I will do, I will take 1,000 EOS of my Pomelo distribution when I will claim the funds. And I will give this 1,000 EOS to the Eden Fractal smart contract account, to the MSIG. Like this, you are all sure to be rewarded when you are joining this Eden Fractal. Oh yeah, baby, that's nice. And I will also continue to sustain Giant New Legend for the documentation because he did a great job for Eden on EOS with the Eden docs, with the Git book, and he's very good at that. So he has the time also. He wants to need the time, so he has to be rewarded, to be paid for that. Otherwise, you do something and you are not paid. Every work needs to be paid. That's very important. So, as I expressed, we are on EOS blockchain, permissionless, public. There is no somewhere stating that we cannot send EOS to a NEOS account. I encourage to do that because by doing that, we are helping us each other and circulating more EOS. So I will do what I say. That's recorded now. I have not the choice to not be committed. I will do what I say. I will send us 1,000 EOS again for this group here because you have a great contributor here. And we are not only a family, we are also good thinkers, and we have to improve the processes. And we are at that, so I am happy. So I stop here. I hope it's not off topic. Sorry.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Patrick. Your support is Well, I appreciate it very much. And I could say more, but I see Eric and Perry have their hands up. I think I saw Jorge clapping too. And I'll pass it on to Eric now.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we get the questions right. I've spent a lot of time, when I'm doing the doctoral research, you spend almost as many time on the questions as you do with how you're going to answer them. So, when you say improve documentation, what are we really talking about? So I don't really understand that question. I mean, superficial, I do. And the other side, when we say, should Lisa and Duane be elected, are we saying, should we put funds, effort? What are we really asking when they say, should we be elected? What's the real question? That's it.
Yeah, thanks, Eric, for the questions and thoughts. So I can respond to those right now. So for one thing with tools, I mean, these are also partially like introductory proposals to get the word out there. I don't think we need necessarily have a full plan that we are approving, but just signaling an opinion that we think, for example, it's a good idea to fund somebody to build better documentation for Eden Fractal. There are several things we can do. One thing, for whatever reason, Jordan's Gitbook site is not loading for public unless you sign in for now, but previously it was public. So I'll contact him at some point and figure out why it's not public. But if I could show it to you, then it's neatly broken down. It's organized in a better way than how I organize in some ways. And also the stuff that I wrote, a lot of that can be written better as well. It could be further refined. And then also other things too, like for example, Perry mentioned once that's done, then people could vote on and so forth. But I suppose that's not really part of the funding as much. But yeah, basically it's just like organizing it better and refining it better and making it more accessible too. So Gitbook provides a lot of benefits to have it make it easier so people can ask questions easier and so forth. So
and then there's the question of, what is documentation? Is it websites? Is it documents? Is it both? And distribution, where does it go? I mean, a mind map is documentation, for example. So
Eric,
yes,
Eric. Sorry, Dan, sorry. Documentation here in this context is when we say improve the documentation, is indeed it's improve the documentation about the processes that are into edencreators.com/tools to make this documentation more comprehensive, more digestible, and more visible.
So we're talking about the website documentation.
So
yeah.
it certainly can be on a website, but also on Gitbook too. That's hosted in Git format too. So there's many ways that we could do it. But and also to answer your second question too, and thank you, Perry, for being patient. We'll pass it on to you in a moment. But to briefly answer your question about Alien Worlds too, so I'll share the actual proposal and idea there more in detail, I suppose, and I can start doing it now. But also since we started talking about tools, it kind of worked out that was a good segue for there. But one of the things I've been thinking about how Eden Fractal can work and how communities can best cooperate is to just get better at sharing opinions and sharing opinions more often. And so you mentioned how would that work about supporting, say, if we think that Lisa and Duane should be elected as custodians. Eden Fractal doesn't have any formal governance power to vote. In the Alien Worlds game, it uses Trillium, and Eden Fractal doesn't have that. But basically, we can just voice our opinion and come to consensus about things that we think would be good or things that could happen. And then I wrote in the last sentence there, people, we can share our opinion, make suggestions, recommendations, or proposals, and then people who have power to do things like allocate funding or something like that, then they can do that if they want, if they respect the community's opinion. So with Alien World in particular, I've been in communication with Michael, who's the lead developer and creator, or at least one of the main creators of Alien Worlds, and he's interested in voting for people in Alien Worlds according or similar to how Eden Fractal recommends. So it wouldn't necessarily be Eden Fractal has power, but he's just interested in hearing our opinion because he sees the value in the democratic process and all the great community members here. And other people could do the same thing too. And in a similar way, when we say, so should someone be funded for building better documentation for tools, of course, we can specify that proposal more in the future to say exactly what we want, but that's just putting out a word or just a signal from the community saying, hey, we think it'd be cool if somebody funded that. And then somebody like Patrick can come along and say, oh, we heard that signal, people like it, so I can do that. Or maybe the ENF or non-EOS or, different organizations, we can work from there. But I think a good first step is just to see what the community wants and what our opinion is. And then from there, we can specify or see who might be interested in doing so, then we can reach out to them. I hope that helps answer your question. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts, Eric, and I'd be happy to hear more of your thoughts at some point and talk about this more. And now I'll pass on to Perry.
Well, I want to respond to your proposal and to Patrick's announcement. Congratulations, Patrick, for making that donation. And I want to read a question that is kind of in response to the proposal and all of this discussion and some of the comments that have been made in Telegram. And it kind of highlights, I think, the dilemma that we're in. And that question reads as this. I'll read it for you here and I'll post it in just a second. What is the difference between $100 per week donated and $1,000 per week donated? And if it's donated by Patrick or someone else, and if those distinctions have not been decided upon as a DAO, why aren't we voting on whether that is one of our bylaws or not? So those are really just, it's one sentence, but those are essentially three different points. We're creating, on one hand, I'm hearing a forked tongue. I'll put it that way, a forked tongue. I'm hearing on one hand, we do accept donations from people. We want to encourage those. And on the other, we're just making signals. So we're okay with Patrick donating $1,000, but we're really not motivated to get other people to donate. That's telling. Why are we doing that? And then why are we not actually putting all of that, those decisions, and that's a fuzzy decision, what I think I've just illustrated. But whatever that decision is, why aren't we making that a written bylaw and voting on it and saying, this is what we've decided, and here it's on chain, and this account and this account and this account voted to that, for that to be our bylaws. And I guess that would be our delegates to do so. So I think that brings into focus what I've been trying to bring to light. Thanks.
Thank you, Perry, for sharing your thoughts. So yeah, I'm just trying to just think of all the different things you said there, and I was trying to take notes as well to be sure. Oh, thank you for writing it down. Yeah. So I could briefly respond to that. I see Patrick has hands up too. I'd be curious to other thoughts, but I'll just go ahead first, I suppose. My view, and I wrote about this in the Telegram chat that I responded to you this morning, and I'm planning to write a lot more about it because a lot of ideas in the Practically white paper and ideas about autonomy that speak about why it's not a great idea or really a good idea for communities to have shared pools of assets that are controlled by secrets, which currently the Eden.Fractal account is. There's EOS in there and there's people on the MSIG, and that can compromise the community's autonomy. So, I mean, anybody can send EOS to the Eden.Fractal account, and there's no way to stop that. And when people do, I mean, I'm going to say thank you. Like that's a nice thing to do in some ways, but also like I'm not seeking people to do that, and I don't really necessarily encourage people to do that beyond what we need to just do what we're currently doing to have the 100 EOS per week. I think that 100 EOS per week is great because it's a little bit, it doesn't really compromise our autonomy at all. Like it's not a huge reward, but it just shows the potential of what we can do with these practical cooperative processes while we're in these early stages. But in the long term, I don't think that we should seek donations. And I also didn't ask Patrick to do that. I'm more personally excited that Patrick expressed interest in funding people like Jorn for doing the documentation, because I think that that's one of the best ways to fund, just funding individuals in the community. And then I'm a big advocate for sharing signals. Like I think that we're much better off. We can reduce liability and increase autonomy by generally avoiding shared pools of assets like EOS that we don't have control over, that are governed by somebody else. And then more so making signals, like for example, the Alien Worlds proposal, or proposing for the Alien Worlds, like that's something where we can share our opinion about who could be elected as custodians on Alien Worlds. Then Alien Worlds has a funding mechanism which has a pretty significant amount of funding that's distributed each week. And then, for example, we could make proposals to people who are or suggestions or recommendations to people who are the custodians on Alien Worlds to fund things that might help Eden Fractal or Alien Worlds Fractal and stuff like that. And similarly for like Eden on EOS, I was on the Eden on EOS call with Mo and Lenny, the chief delegates, and they're talking about how they would love some advice or some opinions and some feedback on where to allocate. So like Eden Fractal doesn't have to actually have any assets, and it shouldn't have any assets. That's one of the things that Fractally White Paper talks about, because that compromises the autonomy. But when we could just share our opinions and then others can respect those opinions if they want, I think that's the most healthy way to do it. But in the meantime, when somebody like Patrick donates 1,000 EOS, then I think that's generally a good thing, because I think it's generally a great thing, because we can keep doing the 100 EOS per week for a while. But personally, I would say like there's probably enough right now. And so I'm not advocating for anybody to send more EOS to the Eden.fractal account. I mean, people can if they want, I guess, but I think it's better to not have too much, because I would get nervous if we had like 10,000 EOS or 20,000 or 50 or 100,000 EOS. Like I would see that as, I mean, it'd be great in some ways, but I would also see lots of potential like risks and liabilities there too. So that's why I much prefer to advocate for signals and opinions and so forth. I hope that helped explain. I'm happy to go into more detail, but I don't want to speak for too long as well. And I see Patrick has had up for a while, so thank you for being patient, Patrick. And I'll pass on to you, and then Perry, you have your hands up next. And I'd be curious to hear if anybody else has any thoughts too. There's been lots of people listening. It's cool to listen, but if anybody else wants to share thoughts, I'd be happy to hear it.
I'm willing to yield to my spot to anybody else who wants to chime in.
Thank you, Perry. And also still, I haven't given I have a few website slides prepared for Alien Worlds proposal as well. So at any point I could show that, which would provide a little bit more color and understanding, because I think it's taken me some time to learn how Alien Worlds work, and I think that many people aren't super familiar with it yet, but I can give a high level overview of how that works and a little bit more clarity about that at any point too when they're ready. But Patrick's had hands up for a while, so I can pass on to Patrick now.
Yeah. I was thinking yesterday about the message that you posted, Dan. I will read again here. You say, I don't think we should seek grand contribution to the community as a whole, because shared pools of assets secured by secrets can compromise our autonomy. And then you say, the community should express opinions to respect individuals who are doing helpful work, and people can choose to fund them if they respect the community's opinion. So I am totally agreeing with, at least with the second part. The community should express opinion to respect individuals who are doing helpful work, and people can choose to fund them if they respect the community's opinion. Because for me, and I think maybe for others here also, but I speak for me, the value added of this hidden fractal, it's all about the ideas, the information that are created here. And then maybe you are agreeing with some people here because you feel you're very aligned, not only connected, very aligned. That's very important. And then you decide to fund someone that is here by sending some EOS to his EOS account because he's doing a fantastic job, but she is doing a fantastic job. So that's your choice. You can do what you want. There is no rule for that. That's EOS, the Everyone Open Society. Then this hidden fractal, me, again, I don't see this hidden fractal as a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, or DAC, decentralized autonomous currency, community, church, how you want to call it. I see this hidden fractal as a catalyst of ideas stated by peoples, by the way. And I think we should not be focused on the people themselves. It seems to be a little bit crazy, but that's logical. We have not to be focused on the people themselves. We have to be focused on the ideas and the information. Like this, we are never upset because we forget about the people sometimes and we are more focused on the ideas and the information. And we are not a DAO. I don't see this hidden fractal as a DAO. I know that some people want to see this hidden fractal as a DAO to help something else. But me, I want to see continuing this hidden fractal as the place where you network with the people, network to earn, network to learn. That's what I want to see, this hidden fractal becoming more and more. That's why I continue to join. And about the 1000 EOS, what is the difference between 100 EOS and 1000 EOS? The 1000 EOS, it's not 10,000 EOS, it's not 15,000 EOS. I am not, I send EOS to this hidden fractal very wisely by thinking, because if I send too much, that could be liable issue for us. It's better to send sometimes 1,000. Like this, those 1,000 will be spread among the week. And each week it's to do what? It's to reward you that are joining here, because we have to respect you. You have to, because you are taking your time. It's to reward you. So I encourage again more people helping, not only on the technological level, not only on the societal level, but on the economical level. That's very important. And that's for every community into this EOS or Antelope coalition, if you want. Wax is very related with us. We have to sustain Lisa and Duane. Very important, because by doing so, there will maybe more users joining Hidden Fractal. So we have to help us. So the funds that again, to be very clear, it's going on chain. It's all verifiable on chain. All what we are doing here is verifiable on chain. All is open source. All is on GitHub. All is into hiddencreators.com/tools. I love this website. That's very well made. You click the link, you see how it works. And you can read that before to sleep, on where you wake up, when you want, into your bedroom, you do what you want. But we will do a better guidelines for sure, but all is already there. So just to say, read what we have made, propose something also as a contribution when you come into the next breakout room, a new contribution maybe. And just to finish, Eric was stating about mind mapping. Mind mapping is just an initiative that I have made to help this hidden fractal to share the links. I have stopped a little bit because I was thinking also, I want to see other people also doing their contribution. Rosemary has made with Notion. She has made a video also. So, Perry, I address me to you because you are repeating always the same. Tomorrow, dnews.zone could maybe create his own video, YouTube, and doing a contribution for us, the hidden fractal. That would be great, because it seems to be that we have to put our publishing source into this hidden fractal. I hope you will decide our publishing source, like Stada stated in hidden fractal 46, that we should decide our publishing source. Where are going our publishing source? If they are going on DNews or whatever other platform, by the way, that will become centralized in a way. If it is the inverse, that we point to the source where they are, and we let free the people to share as they want, that's the yeah baby moment. That's the Eureka moment. That's the most distributed, not decentralized, the most distributed. So I will fight for that. And I will not fight with you, Perry. Again, I want that we can be better together. And I say that again, that's my open door. And I am very sincere with you. So if I can come in Costa Rica, I will come for sure. I cannot. I am in Switzerland. That's a long travel. But that's what I want to say to you, Perry. And not only Perry, for every newcomers here, what we are doing here is really that. It's a catalyst of collaboration. It's a catalyst of information. And then it's up to everyone to create what he wants to create. Seems to be that I am saying a lot of bullshit here, but I stop here.
Thank you,
I'm
Patrick,
not
for
sure
sharing.
I'm not sure what you said about a video, Patrick. Are you saying that? I'm not sure. You want me to make a video? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you speak very well. You are very convinced. You are very, let's say, charismatic. You can preach a lot of goods for this hidden fractal. You can preach a lot of good for the collaboration or the cooperation or the co-petition, but certainly not for the competition. So if I hear again the word competition, sorry, I become a little bit not okay. Because here into Hidden Fractal, we are not doing competition. We are doing nice collaborations. Beside this Hidden Fractal, it's all related because, by the way, I am working with Vlad and CIC on a project that is very helpful for here, but I have not unveiled too much for the moment. I will be very happy when we are okay with the first version. I will come back here and I will share what I am doing because I respect this hidden fractal. Because respect is not only about monetary, it's also about the people. You respect the people. You want to share good ideas with them and be aligned. That's what I want. And I want that we stop our conflict that was generated because I was becoming mad by always pointing others and was not seeing the point. It seems to be now I have the courage to say, I see why you are not seeing what I am seeing. I am understanding better what you want to say to us here, Perry. I understand very well what you want to say to us. You want that we are the most decentralized possible. And I think we want all the same. So we are aligned indeed. So I am happy. That's a beautiful day.
Okay, so you're suggesting maybe that I create videos that promote Eden Fractal. That's what you were saying with regard to video.
Yeah, I will encourage you to be more contributive, more collaborating with us. Instead, sorry, I do a comparison, but I have to. Instead to see this hidden fractal becoming maybe the new DAO of the news or the new DAO of something else, by the way. I am more inclined to see you pushing us with your technology that you have. You have a great technology, the news. I am there. I have my video there, RSS feed gathered. I am happy. And I am also be happy to be with Firmament. Firmament is not competitive with the news. The news is not competitive with Firmament. The news should be complementary. And Firmament is also complementary. Because you stated the last week, and I'm finished with that, you stated the last week at the end of the episode, you stated, but indeed, I have the news and there is Tadas with Firmament. Now we have to choose between the both. No, we have not to choose between the both. Everyone can do his platform and then we collaborate really between us. We share data and information. Like this, that will be cohesive. Like this, that will be very sake of the unity. And that's like this, that we are the most distributed. And what I am not waiting anything from you. I am not a pressure on my shoulder stating Perry should do video, Perry should promote us. That's not that. I just
Patrick,
give you an idea.
Okay.
It's just an idea.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, it's good to share ideas and recommendations, but also I would also love to share the little presentation I had prepared about Alien World, so there's a bit more context about that. And we don't have much time left, and I appreciate all your sharing, Patrick. But let's all try to keep our messages a little bit shorter so we can be more efficient with our time. Thank you, Perry, for being patient there. There's also a bunch of great comments in the chat too, so perhaps I'll read this out. Or if anybody else wants to speak up, it'd be great to hear from more people too. But with that, I think I'll pass it on to Perry, and then if anyone else wants to raise their hand and share some thoughts, would be great to hear from you. And then if I can get to share that little bit more context about Alien Worlds in the next 5 or 10 minutes, and I think that'd be helpful. Although it could be longer too, if people can stay around long. But I just want to make sure we share that before we start to wrap it up, because we are almost at the top of the hour. But great discussion so far. So thanks all, and I'll pass on to Perry now.
Well, I think this discussion, I'm really glad that I brought all this up because it's bringing to light important facts that I think all of us should know. And one of those is that our biggest contributor thinks that we are not a DAO, and that's honestly surprising to me. I did not realize that we are not a DAO, and that our host doesn't want large donors. So those are two important facts that I think we should all recognize that are facts, in the sense that one is coming from our largest donor and one is coming from our host, and they don't consider us to be a DAO. We're not decentralized, autonomous organization, and we don't want large donations. That makes a lot of sense now, that is the actual opinion, because I was under the impression that we were a DAO and we wanted donations. So is this decision by our largest contributor and our host, is this what all of us have decided? I haven't heard that. I haven't seen that proposal. This is frankly news to me. So I think this brings to light the need for a mission statement, bylaws, all of which is voted on by the delegates, which is exactly what I've been talking about.
Sorry, Tadas, sorry, Dan. I have to say something.
Patrick, if you're going to speak, just be super quick, because you've spoken a lot right now.
Yeah, very quick. Perry, again, you say something, and you are very good at that, I have to admit. But Dan is just stating the contrario into the chat. He's stating, I encourage large donors to donate to individuals.
Okay.
Encourage that large donors. I don't know how you want to qualify a large donor, but to help others. So it's not correct what you just stated, Perry, by the way. Okay.
So all right, and in the future, please also go back to hand raising, because really I think we should just respect his DOS there. But I appreciate your support though, Patrick, and I can also share some thoughts about that as well. But I'm very curious to hear from the DOS, so I'll pass on to DOS now.
Thanks. So Perry, what does role like our host or biggest contributor, what does it have to do with anything? Like I don't see, like you continuously keep bringing up these terms, and I don't see how they are relevant to Eden Fractal at all, unless you don't know how Eden Fractal works. Because we can next week we can change our delegates and go in a totally different direction, and the host, we can re-elect, choose a totally different host. We can make a decision that rejects Patrick's contributors. Everything is there. We can make these decisions. The fact that we haven't made them means that it's community's decision.
Yeah, and that's happening while you're getting money from it. So let's just put that together, and let's also put that in.
What does it mean? Getting money has to do with anything. I'm just a one person. I can't determine consensus of breakout group.
So it's a circular argument. It's a circular situation. Like we can just do this and that, while at the same time you're receiving money. Now the governments around the world, and I'll speak about the U.S. government. The U.S. government has the same situation with political.
No, it's not the same situation. We don't have a breakout groups which determine delegates every week. They don't. We elect delegates and they work for 4 years or something.
Well, people are getting paid behind the scenes.
Not behind the scenes. Everything is public.
Yes, but they're getting paid separately. They're not.
Yeah, but you can invite next week. You can invite hundreds of people, and we all could vote according to your opinion, and Eden Fractal would be completely changed.
Let me ask you this.
Your governance cannot do that.
Let me ask you this, and I'll make an extreme example, just to make an example. I agree. I decide I'm going to give you $10,000 every meeting, right? Now, and I'll decide, okay, I'll give you that amount of money. And now we go into the meetings. How do you think that's going to, and I give another person another amount of money and another person amount, how do you think that's going to affect the rankings in this meeting. $10,000. Do you think it's going to affect the things that I reflect, that I express, and I'm here saying I like this and I like that? Do you think that's going to have any influence at all on people's voting in the rankings?
Well, it's psychological question. Like it's up to it's how people think. It's about that. Like there is nothing preventing people from having opinions which say like I don't trust this person because he is funded by someone. Like some people could go the opposite way, like you are currently going. People could say I'm not ranking him high because he's funded anyway. Why should he ranked high if he's getting paid for the job? And I've seen people express this opinion in Genesis Fractal continuously, where Fractally team was funded by Dan Larimer, and some people were saying they are paid anyway, so why rank them high? Yeah, so it's.
Can I jump in real quick?
So
Me too, please.
yeah, sounds good. We'll pass it to Marco and then Jorge after that.
So I really don't like politics, and part of the reason I don't think anybody in aviation likes politics because you have limited fuel. So you got to be effective, and I see the only possible solution to what Perry is saying, and that is stop donations. So it's either on or off. Either you can send a donation freely or you can't. In that way, we're not like the old fractals. And that really is the only answer. Now, if you're going to go into something else, it still comes down to is, are you able to just give money? If the contract is off and you can't, and then you have to request to give money, then it's valid. So it's a moot point.
That's an excellent point, Marco. In the
Right,
sense,
it's a moot point. If you're not going to suggest turning it off, then there's nothing else to say.
well, whatever it is, if that's what we're gonna, that's fine. Let's turn it off, and it's completely off, and so that's our policy. And we vote to completely turn it off. But what happens there is that it creates a window of opportunity for another fractal, another DAO that completely expresses itself, outlines its processes, and does invite large donors. And that's okay. That's okay. And if that happens, if this group decides that and says we're just going to completely shut out all donations and it's just signals, we're just signaling everybody, then you'll see another DAO, another group show up that is actually going to try to fund, ask for donations, and be a DAO and actually follow through on the original dream of Fractally, which right?
Yeah, but so good thoughts, but we did say we're going to go to Jorge, so I want to just jump in there. And also, there's been some other things too. If it's okay with you, Jorge and Perry, too, I want to just say, Space Ring with Joe, there's been great comments in the chat. He wrote, glad to see some positivity from Perry and Patrick, and he has to exit, but he wants to lend his support for Lisa and Duane as custodians and Ike, as they're both great community members who will contribute positively for Eden Fractal and Alien Worlds community. There's also been a lot of great chats too. I encourage everybody to check it out, as well as Patrick talking about, well, never mind, I won't mention actually, but yeah, I'll pass on to Jorge now.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to say that so far, with the amounts involved of at the most 1,000 EOS, this community has been working smoothly. The hypothetical situation that Perry is mentioning, when someone brings up $10,000 or $100,000, it's just that, it's a hypothetical situation. And because of that, in order to actually see what could happen, we should do the experiment. So I should say, really, I would say, really, bring it on. You have someone who can bring $10,000, bring it on. Bring it $100,000, and we will iterate from that. We'll iterate from that, and we'll learn. But let's not
that's
make.
What I'm trying to do, Jorge.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, but let's not create unnecessary drama before the actual issue. At the current state, we are operating quite smoothly. So if we have bigger donors, we will learn to iterate, and we will grow as a community on the process, during the process.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring light and clarity and determinism to the process so that large donors feel comfortable. That's exactly what we do.
That's great, Perry. If you could please lower your hand and then raise your hand when you want to speak next, you keep jumping in, and I appreciate hearing from you. But also, I have some thoughts I want to share too, and I'm also trying to refrain myself from speaking too much. And Eric and Patrick and Tadas have their hands up. I do want to just share, if it's okay with you, Eric, if I just share a couple of the comments in the chat that we haven't shared yet. Well, first off, Lisa was sharing an idea about giving EOS to everyone who got a welcome declaration, and 1 trillion too, that's more than 100 people. Marco said neat ideas. And then I responded to Perry's comment about we don't want large donors, and I said I encourage large donors to donate to individuals in the community. Several people liked and gave that a thumbs up, and Tadas said that Eden Fractals created a database of contributors in a public blockchain. Bunch of great comments. Once again, I recommend also people to comment in the Telegram live chat. I forgot to remind everybody to do that as well. There's a comment that I really like from Tadas that he shared, or large donors can simply distribute their large contributions in proportion to weekly rankings or Eden distribution. So I think that is a very interesting idea. If we can avoid the shared pool of assets and have it more so it's individuals funding each other, but still using that same algorithm, I think that could be potentially an excellent solution to this problem. I don't really know if there's a problem. And also, we have a huge opportunity with the alien world thing that we haven't really gotten to yet. So I think that we have a huge opportunity right in front of us that we're not currently paying attention to. But I also appreciate that there's a lot of interesting things to discuss here as well. And I also see Space Ranger Joe wrote some stuff too. But yeah, perhaps if you'd like to just share some thoughts, Joe, I know you had to go. But there's a lot of great comments in the chat. So I encourage everybody to both share it in the Telegram live chat. And then also, if you want to speak up and share it, that would be cool as well. But anyway, I'll pass it on to Eric now.
So when you look at think of us as a startup, because I come from a startup community, so that's the way I think a lot of the times. And in startups, your first thing is to find an idea that works. Find something that works. How do you know? You spend time talking to people. How about this? How about that? Until you start getting this, oh yeah, that's cool. I kind of get it. So you're in search of product market fit, and usually you seek seed money. Seed money is, here's some money to explore something, as opposed to when you go to C rounds and the A rounds, the other rounds where people are going, no, we want return. Exactly. So if you're going to take a large donation, then you have to be prepared to say, here's exactly what you get, here's the return for your money, which isn't bad. And I think Perry's got a good idea that if you're going to ask for money, you better define how the money's going to expend, what you get out of it, what's the deal. The key is, I think we're just starting to make progress on decision making. The consensus, I think we've gone a long way to really get contribution rounds. I think that game, still room for a lot of improvement, but I think we're really making progress on that. When it comes to the decision making, we're still very rudimentary. I mean, when I see I'm proud of what we've done, but when I see the questions, they're just big. I'm not a huge fan of starting with a yes or no question. Should we give somebody a raise? Yes or no? Well, the real question is, how do we most take advantage of the value between the person and each other? How do we most value? So I'm not disappointed with what we're doing, but we're still very, very rudimentary when it comes to making decisions together. We've got the delegate election process. Okay, we've done pretty good at that, but that's just a step. So we've got the pieces to build a DAO, but a DAO has very specific rules that are implemented on a functional blockchain that is working autonomously, and we're not there yet. We've got some smart contracts, we've got some rules, but we haven't gone through and done a design because we don't know what we want to do. Like I think Perry came to the point, is we haven't agreed on what we want to do. We are getting seed money right now to explore this idea, but I think where we're moving next is exploring the idea of just, how do you make decisions together? How do we overcome a lot of the friction we've done here? How do we easily come up with these things where there's proposals? We got some good feedback of using sociocracy methods. We've got some feedback from Joshua and others on using holacracy methods. We've got some own ideas for using methods. We've got some tools, but we are still very, very basic. Well, the consensus was our first thing. I think we've gone light years ahead, but when it comes to decision making, we're still trying to explore the experiment of even how we make decisions making. So we're not ready to say, give us a decision, we'll plow it, put your money in here, and we will handle this for you. Because this is right now, we're just a think tank R&D looking for product market fit. Now, once you have something, then you switch modes and you say, come look at this, come look at this, come look at this. Instead of talking about these discussions like we have, we say, I've got something I need to show you. I've got something I need to show you. And when it comes in that when you show somebody, they get it, then you scale and you go from product market fit and you shift from sales. Like now we're in R&D. Then you shift into sales. Come look at this. And then once you got it, you shift into marketing. We have this thing, it sells itself. Let's go on. So I think it's kind of realized that this journey we're on is from production to sales to marketing, from seed money to real paying customers to network scale. But I can tell you, if you take a startup company and throw money at it without a clear idea of what you get and where you go, that can kill an organization really fast. Just some thoughts.
Great points. Thank you very much, Eric, for sharing your perspective. I saw both Perry and Patrick wrote in the chat excellent perspectives and got some claps and thumbs up and stuff like that. Jorge, Dan, the conversation went straight from topic. So yes, I agree. There's been lots of things that people have been discussing. I would like to bring it back to the alien world as well. And I saw Jorge wrote, I support Lisa and Duane 100%. So I would like to share a little bit more about that too, because I think that there's a solution right in front of us with alien worlds, and alien worlds is super exciting. So I'd love to share that and hear what people think about that. But yeah, it's also been great to hear all the different thoughts and appreciate that sometimes it's helpful to go a little bit off topic sometimes too. So I've been happy to just hear everybody's thoughts, and I think it's been a productive discussion for everybody so far. I saw Tadas has hands up before. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add, but I see Patrick has hands up. So perhaps if Patrick, you want to go, and then if Tadas or anybody else wants to share anything, but then it's already I guess 18:15 UTC or something like that. So we should probably start wrapping up fairly soon because we've been here for close to 3 hours, and I'd love to share the little presentation and thoughts about alien worlds before then. So perhaps after Patrick goes, then I will share that, and I'm curious to hear what you think. And it would be great, I think, for the alien worlds proposal. I mean, I think that we've made progress on the conversations about the documentation, although I don't know, it's also about like how to make that proposal and stuff. So that's kind of one of the right. But perhaps we can have a more focused discussion now and in the coming days and weeks and so forth. But I also think that both of these, if we can come to some sort of starting a consensus and get them perhaps approved next week, then I think that would be a great thing. So I would love to focus more on those proposals specifically as well. So thank you, Jorge, for the reminder. And Rosemary, wow, these hours go by quick. Yes, I hope you've been enjoying it, Rosemary. It would be great to hear from you if you want to share anything. Whoever's enjoying it. And yeah, I'll pass on to Patrick now.
Yeah, great thoughts by Eric, shout out, and Tadas also very affirmative with what we are doing here. That was nice to hear. And Jorge, as always. Just to be very short, whatever happened with the funding of others, we have to be very focused on what we are doing here. So we have to help us between us. We are a little group. So if we cannot figure out how we can help us between us now, imagine when we are more. So what we have to do now for the next weeks coming, I hope we will do that. Strengthen the process that we have, improve the documentation, making the things very clear, like crystal clear. Now, it's not the point about to say it is not on chain, all is on chain. And behind the scene, no, there is no behind the scene. And by the way, as I have giving a lot of time to this hidden fractal, that's why I am totally inclined to be elected every time into my breakout room level 2. Because I don't want to see any privilege like Space Wrangler was stating, yeah, then there is some lobbying or some maybe arrangement. No, I am okay to be leveled 1 or leveled 2. That's not the point. Because some people could think, oh, he's giving a lot of time, money to this hidden fractal, so he deserves to be leveled better. No, no, no. I want to be very clear. I do that just to sustain this hidden fractal because there is no funding. So I have the chance to be recognized with my work, and the EOS that I am using, I am distributing like a rabbit and giving carrots. That's okay. That's okay. I am the best rabbit in the galaxy, and I am very happy with that. I will continue to do so. And now about the next steps, we have to do better marketing. We have to better market what we do, but we can only market what we know. What we don't know, better to say nothing when we don't know. So we can only market what we know. And what we know is that that's the place to have nice networking, know the people better than the first week, and then you collaborate with them. That's that we should promote: collaboration, place to go, onboard new people in here from other community like Alien World. And I sustain Duane and Lisa. Clear, they deserve to be elected for sure. So what else? Continue like this, and again, everyone can do his contribution, little piece into the ocean, and do nice video, nice updates, promoting not only Hidden Fractal, promoting yourself also, what you are doing. Like this is 1 + 1 = 3. So that's okay. Again, seems to be that I repeat always the same thing. Okay.
Cool. Thank you, Patrick. Jorge asked, are we doing some official voting today? You need to go in a few minutes.
Yeah.
I think we could vote, although I don't think we have enough delegates to formally pass a proposal with the Eden post-fractal system. But it would be great to hear from everybody. So I'm in support of both the proposals to fund somebody, or that somebody should be funded to create documentation for Eden Fractal and prove that. And I'm also in support of Lisa and Duane. I think that they should be custodians on Planet Ike as well. So I don't think we can formally reach consensus, but it'd be great to hear from, I think we heard from Jorge and Patrick, and I think Space Wrangler Joe, that they're in support of that, and Rosemary going. But thanks all. Thank you, Rosemary, very much. And yeah, hope you've all enjoyed. And Rosemary said she supports too. Yeah, if everybody could just let us know. I mean, you don't need to, but if you could let us know what you think about both those proposals, it'd be great to hear from you. And then also, I'll show, perhaps if everybody can stick around for a bit longer, or whoever can, I'll show the Alien Worlds presentation right now, because I didn't really provide the context about that, but I think that is a huge opportunity that can provide the funding that people are looking for in many ways. Eric is saying support both. Cool to hear. Yeah, and so Patrick supports boats, so I think that's a typo. Yes, and Rosemary clarified, yes, support both as well. So yeah, in future weeks we can I'll also voice that too. But yeah, I just wanted to share, I suppose now would be a good time to just jump into it, because it's already quite a long while. And this was the first topic that was voted on too. So I should share, Patrick does not support bot. Good to know. So yeah, this is the proposal here. I read it out loud before. I'll just show alienworlds.io. They put together a new website recently, and it's quite well organized now. You can learn how you can play, and the community and the blog and all sorts of stuff you can explore. I encourage everybody to look around. It's a really cool game and really cool metaverse with lots of cool, interesting things there. And then I've also been curating a article at edencreators.com/alienworldsfractal for a while now. I did some updates to this last week, basically working to curate, because Duane was hosting Alien Worlds Fractal meetings for about 13 weeks at the end of last year. And so you can check out this site here to see some of the videos. They're also on YouTube, but I just kind of organize them all in one spot so everybody can see it. And then lots of collaborations. And I've been working closely with Vlad and Lisa and Duane and many people. We're also doing Alien Worlds meetings at the Crown Call every Thursday at 16 UTC. And Lisa's been hosting an EO ship call at 15 UTC on Thursday as well. And we're thinking about starting to do fractal meetings there at some point as well. I encourage everybody to join if you'd like. And then you can check out the interface too. So if you make an account, then you can see who's voted as a candidate. Basically, the way it works is there's 5 different planets in Alien Worlds. One of them is called Ike. And then the way it works is that there's weekly elections every week. And then the custodians who get elected via the Trillium can make decisions to disperse the Trillium that they get each week from the Federation, which is basically from Decoco, which is the company that created Alien Worlds. So I can go more into details, but just a high level overview. Basically, there's this mechanism where there's an election every week, and if 3 out of 5, and there's 5 delegates or 5 custodians on each planet, and then they basically form an MSIG with 3 out of 5 to be able to disperse that trillium to do things that are helpful for alien worlds in general. Right now, Vlad and Gnome are custodians in alien worlds, and they're both the 2 top voted people on planet Ike. And then there's also Xander, who does live streams on Twitch. And then I'm not sure who Furry and Snip are, but Lisa knows a lot more about it than I do. And also Lisa and Max and Duane have some votes as well. Lisa's pretty close to being in the top 5 spot. And so if Lisa was in the top 5 spot, then perhaps we could make proposals. In Vlad, Gnome, and Lisa are all pretty excited about helping people cooperate with these fractal consensus games. So perhaps we could make proposals to them to help build the Alien Worlds Fractal, to help fund things like more documentation or better tools, or like Vlad wants to port over the tools from EOS to Wax and stuff like that. All sorts of things that people are doing that are both helpful for Eden and Alien Worlds Fractal. So you can explore the site to learn more, and then you can also explore the Wax blockchain account. Basically, there's about 180,000 trillium or so each week. It goes down a little bit, that gets dispersed to them, which is approximately $3.5 thousand. So that's something that can be pretty significant funding on a weekly basis that Eden Fractal wouldn't have any formal control over, but we can just voice our opinion about who we think would be cool to be a delegate. And then Michael, the creator of Alien Worlds, spoken to several times, and he has quite a bit of trillium that he's interested in voting in with the recommendations of Eden Fractal. So it would be up to him, of course, if he wants to choose the recommendations. And if we vote for people who are really bad, or people who aren't good decisions, then of course he could say no. He could vote however he wants, but he respects our opinions, and he's excited to do this soon. He wants to actually start doing it with the next couple of weeks. It's kind of a high priority for him because he's very interested in making the Alien Worlds game more resilient and decentralized. So I think there's a big win-win opportunity where we can help get great leaders like Lisa and Duane elected, and then they can work with people like Vlad, Gnome, and Xander, and perhaps Furry and Snip, whoever they are, to help build the Alien Worlds Fractal, and also help fund Eden Fractal community members as well. So that's kind of a high-level overview that I wanted to share there. Another thing I wanted to share too, that I haven't shared my public with the group, but I've shared in my breakout rooms, but I figured it's just good to share. I've also worked on another brand. It's called Fractal Joy. So this is a brand that's aiming to help everyone cooperate with these fractal consensus games. You can check out the homepage at fractaljoy.io. Patrick, thumbs up. It was very much inspired by Pat Novajoy, and also Tadasky gave a great recommendation, and also Lovejoy, I spoke with him too. So it seemed nice. So I'm putting this website together, and it's kind of early work in progress. Be happy to hear feedback. But basically, I kind of copied and pasted some of the stuff that I wrote for the Eden Fractal details page I shared a couple weeks ago, and also took some of the feedback that Perry provided and other people provided in the group too, to figure out the best way to do it. And so this is a way that it's kind of a brand that I'm aiming to reach out to Alien Worlds more, and also Upland. I've been in communication with them a bit, and also the Ethereum community with people who are really excited about solving big problems in the world. I can go more into details about that, but basically just wanted to show everybody here. It's a bit of an announcement, I guess, that wasn't totally on topic. And then another thing too, Eric mentioned about becoming more efficient with how we vote, and I've been working on that quite a lot too. I had this idea called Signals I've been working on for a while. I can share more about that, but I think maybe we can use like a spreadsheet to vote throughout the week or something like that. I'm happy to share more about that in the future, but I just want to say I really agree with Eric's point that we need to become more efficient and more effective at making proposals and stuff. And we're kind of just in the early stages, but I think that will help us express opinions more effectively. So yeah, I just want to give a high level overview. I think this is a really big opportunity for Eden Fractal and Alien Worlds. I think it's a great growth opportunity, and this is something that's really valuable and important. So that's one of the reasons why I want to make this proposal, and I would really love to discuss it next week as well. Thank you, Lisa, for joining. I'd be curious to hear if you have any thoughts here, Lisa, that you want to share, or if anybody has any thoughts about that. I know that was kind of a lot of information at once, so happy to go over it more if you want, or we can start to wrap it up. Thanks, Jorge and Rosemary, for sticking around a bit longer, and great to see you, Lisa. You want to share some thoughts, Lisa? Hello.
Thank you so much for your support. It's been great, and it's a true honor and pleasure to introduce the ecosystem of EOS and all the communities that have been thinking about governance and how, methods and processes and software and concepts for years, and to this game, which that evolved into for some as a layer of a lot of that theory and software and concepts and values. And so it's a very exciting time now that we have the opportunity to connect that. And it's a real privilege to be trading that on. Not being a dev myself, I can only imagine what it means to have this or that. But as I hear the opportunities and possibilities, I know that this is a very good thing that we do to bring everyone together. And we see that people figure it out. So more the merrier. Please feel free to hop into our imaginary world. We have a lot of Telegram and Discord chats and more live events. And this is quite fun because we're engaging more and more people. I mentioned in the breakout, just this week, we've gathered at least 50 community managers to help spread the news about all the opportunities. So you'll probably see some more people showing up here in the future, because each of those communities range from hundreds of people to thousands of people. So that's a lot of people, but we want to just kind of like 10x it up instead of like a ton of people at once. But there will be new people everywhere if we want to invite them and share. And you're already seeing them start popping into the Planet Telegram groups and such. And so that's really fun. And they've all played or heard about alien worlds. And so this is a chance to talk more about governance and practice and the history and heritage of where we've come from and why. Because some people don't understand that, like if they showed up like after Binance, or in some cases, like some of the Discord communities don't know, they don't understand the EOS, Eden, fractally heritage, or what that means, or a lot of why we do what we do. And granted, of course, everyone does, it's different, it's evolved a lot, but just having that time in those sessions are really fun. So we are going to have an interplanetary conference, and I hope you'll all join. Have not launched registration. I'll let you know when we do. And the registrants will pick the dates and the topics. I'll be presenting what's been gathered and shared in the public at this point. And then that'll all be for discussion, and hopefully we'll use Fractalgram and some of the other, we have at Decathlon always use Shums, so I anticipate we'll do the same. And we'll have a hackathon most likely. We've had prizes already donated for that even before announcing it. And so we're going to have a lot of fun over a series of weeks, maybe even longer in cases, and lots of sessions, lots of live, lots of videos, lots of opportunities for people to get involved and do things and play and earn in various ways. So stay tuned. But thank you all for your support in your various here today. And Duane wishes he could be with us. He can't today, of course, but on his behalf, I'm sure he's grateful as well. So, I mean, I know there were some questions earlier about the EOS ship, which is, of course, an imaginary space that we're flying on. But other than that.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. We got claps and hearts from Rosemary too, and I feel the same way too. Thank you, and great speech, Lisa too. And Lisa, if anybody's not, I think everybody's familiar with Lisa who's here, and if anybody's watching who doesn't know, but she does amazing work in the alien worlds community, also the Eden community too. But she really focuses. She's all over the place. You mentioned the Telegram groups. Perhaps if you want to share some of those in the Eden Fractal chat, so people can follow up on that, that'd be great. She started a bunch of them for all the different planets and different things, and she's hosting the unconference, and there's also the calls I mentioned too. So Lisa she's just fantastic and wonderful work. So I'm so grateful to have Lisa here with us and for your speech and everything like that, and very happy to support and collaborate with you. And thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. And you can go to Alien Worlds community in Telegram if you want to start. And there's pinned messages with all the chats that that we're gathering and other information. There's a website, alienworlds.community too, which is just starting to get updated with everything. But there's a lot of fun things going on. So, and there's a lot of opportunities around if you want to play. And play is really just like exist in life on social media these days. So take play as whatever you want. I call everything play lately, but there are a lot of opportunities. We can say that.
Yeah, for sure. And I love the gaming mindset of it and the playful aspect of it too. And there's a bunch of great, amazing people in the Alien Worlds community too. So Eric's also building the Center for Governance in the Alien Worlds. He's been working with aliens for a long time. And then Duane, of course, he does amazing work. So many others as well. So I'm planning to make this proposal again next week, and we can discuss it. between now and then. And yeah, if anyone wants to share any links in there, the Alien Worlds community and things like that, Lisa, then that'd be awesome, so that people with Eden Fractal become more familiar with Alien Worlds. And also, likewise, I know you've been sharing a lot of stuff with the EO ship and Eden Fractal in the other in the Alien Worlds group, so I really appreciate it as well. And I think that there's a lot of great opportunities for collaboration between these two communities. Okay, cool. If there's anything else you want to add there, Lisa, then it'd be great to hear from you. Or I see Erickson Music if you want to add anything. I know Patrick has hands up too. If you want to share something, we've also been going for over 3 hours, so we should probably wrap it up soon. I know probably everybody has to go soon. But I'd also be happy to stick around for a bit longer. If anybody has any thoughts or questions for Lisa, it would be cool to hear as well. If Lisa can stick around, or we can wrap it up. But I suppose Patrick has hand up before. So, and Patrick shared the mind map for Alien Worlds too, mindweb.io .aw. I encourage you to share the links. Oh, you shared it in the live chat too. Cool. Do you want to? Oh, and
it's
okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not a jour. It's not the last let's say state of Alien World. There are some links into the mind map that I was mapping out. If I join again Alien World, for sure I will continue to update this mind map. That's the goal of the mind maps. It's to put some links and the information where it is stay, and the mind map is just pointing to. So that's what it is. And but it is not updated at all. But it's already the link into the chat here at aw.html. That will be always this link. So I will continue to update those mind maps as I did also for Eden Fractal, by the way. I will continue to do so. I was making a pause a little bit. Okay, so shout out to Lisa for the Alien World, and Duane that is not here. Shout out to him. And yeah, thank you for the links, Lisa. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. And also thank you, Patrick, for the mind maps too. I hope that you'll be excited to collaborate more with the Alien World in the future, but already on that mind map is a bunch of great content. Thank you, Patrick, also for hosting and inviting me to co-host the interviews with Duane. So we have a couple of great interviews with Duane that you can find on the mind maps of this site that I shared as well, that we did last year. So there's a lot of great resources that people can learn from, and I'll also follow up with some links in the live chat too. And speaking of the live chat, I saw that Space Ranger Joe, he shared some of his thoughts about Perry's points before. Thank you, Perry, for bringing up points and challenging to help us be stronger and better, and interested to hear more follow-ups about that. And I'll read that more closely and consider that more. And Tadas also shared some thoughts as well in response to Perry. And Tadas also wrote that he hopes that we have this proposal regarding custodians again next week and vote for it next week at Lisa. So just to give a little bit of update, everybody can follow up in the chat. Yep, that's basically that. Does anybody have any other thoughts, or should we wrap it up?
I have a thought. I think that was a nice one today. Better engaging, better, let's say, better vibes between each of us. I hope between Perry and me, it's perceived better. We want the best for this Eden Fractal, by the way. So, but our perspective have to be shared and understand what we promote, what we care about here. So I think more we are going and more we will be aligned. It seems to be Perry and me. So that's okay. Don't as I stated on the last one, don't be focused on just Perry and me. Be focused on this Eden Fractal going on, because we will figure out. He will go in Switzerland. I will go in Costa Rica, and we will drink grappa together. I think, and we will go into the ocean and make a swim. And then he will put his hand on my, and he will try to.
No.
We will see. We will see. We never know what will happen. No, it's okay.
I'm
it's
going
okay.
to try to kill Patrick. Okay, all right.
Wow.
No.
Nice plan. No.
That's what you just said.
No. I'm joking. Okay, so forget about Minimi and Dr. Evil. I think we can change the narrative now. We are the best lion, and we want not to be sheeps, for sure. and we reach the best for this hidden fractal. Correct, Perry? Or I am wrong? Or
I hope we're all trying to create something amazing for the world. That's what I'm trying to do.
okay.
I feel like this group has the raw materials for an amazing human dynamic that can completely change how we organize. And I have great hopes for it. So that's why I'm putting this energy here. That's why I'm showing that.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Perry, for putting in all the energy and showing up and sharing that. That's very inspiring, and I completely agree. And I'm very excited to be doing that and be doing amazing things and helping people cooperate in all sorts of exciting ways. You're pointing. I see Patrick's got a hat on, and it looks particularly cool with Patrick's background now. Patrick looks like he's like.
Well, no, and he's doing the finger. He's got
Okay.
the hat and the finger. He can't object to my thinking. He cannot.
Okay, I have a
Okay.
suggestion
I
for
don't have a
Perry
hat. Oh, I do
today.
have a hat.
I have a precedent for Perry. Maybe that will sound a little bit struggling you, or maybe something not okay. But Perry, please, can we close this hidden fractal with a nice hat for you? And try to stay until the end. When we say 3, 2, 1, 0, go hidden fractal, you stay with us, and you not put this little finger that I don't love so much. If we can try to stay until the end. That's also respect, by the way, and that's also joyful. By the way, you are Perry Joy. If you accept to do so, I will change you will change your name for Perry Joy. You have Dancing Joy, you have Rosemary Joy, you have Lisa Joy, you have Perry Joy, and Pat Nova Joy. I want to stay Pat Nova Joy, but the things are going crazy. I am coming Pat Nova Bat. I am Pat Nova Joy. So we close this one, everyone, with a hat. Put your hat now.
Okay.
Voila, Lisa, executed.
That's a cool like raccoon hat too.
Or are we to reach consensus to put a hat on our head?
Oh, that's a nice hat too, Rosemary. I like that beanie kind of hat.
Perry, where are you?
Perry,
Perry is black. Perry black.
Maybe he's
Perry
looking for a hat. I don't know, Perry. Can you still hear us?
I'm still here.
Oh, you got that! There you go!
Yeah, baby. Okay, so now
there
Perry,
it is.
There we go.
Okay, so if you can stay until the end, I will appreciate a lot. So I think we are aligned today. Let's try. I take the risky move.
Let's try.
I will say with all my heart, soul, and mind, we will say, go Eden. No!
Here it comes.
No, Perry, I know that you are make you violence in the good way to not put your finger, okay?
All right, well,
Okay.
anyway.
Yeah, ship too.
Okay, so.
Was it Lisa said go eat your ship?
Yes.
Okay.
Didn't we do that last time?
No, I don't know if we did it last time. I don't remember. But let's do it again. Let's go Eden Fractal. And let's go EO ship. And then also, Perry, if you want to do the thing, that's fine with me. But also, if you want to stick around and say go Eden.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're welcome as well. So
absolutely. I will do the countdown.
All right, Patrick, do the countdown.
And when you are ready, you raise your hand.
Which order?
First we'll go Eden Fractal.
Perry, raise your hand when you are ready.
How about and there's somebody over there too.
This is my answer to the hand raising. And
please do something good. Raise your hand. Please, Perry.
Okay.
Please raise your hand. That would be nice. And voila. Is it joyful? Is it respectful? No, it's not joyful.
Patrick,
no,
relax,
it's not respectful.
Chill, Patrick. It's cool. It's cool. I appreciate you encouraging him.
No, I am okay. But Perry don't want to be the joy. Okay, so let's move on.
Okay.
3. Not with this one, huh?
Okay.
With all the finger. 3.
3, 2, 1, go eat fractal.
Yeah, so 3, 2, 1,
1,
0. Go!
And go EOS ship.
And 3, 2, 1, go
And
your
go
ship. 3,
Alien
2, 1,
Vogue!
go
Over
your ship. Woohoo!
We are not ships.
Fly,
We are
fly.
lions here. We have to continue to join. You are not ships, huh? Okay?
Yes. Sounds-
Join the next one.
Sheep, ship.
Yeah, ships, yeah, not
ships,
sheep.
sheep, okay.
EO ship, not EO ship.
Ship,
Okay,
not
okay.
sheep.
Yes.
That's actually
Yeah,
quite
it's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
You understand what I mean. Okay, not but and good lion and with wisdom of the crowd and all in peace. Okay.
Yes. And we'll be back here every Wednesday, as always, 15:30 UC. Thank you, Lisa and Patrick and Rosemary and everybody for everything. It's been a great
Thank
call.
you.
Thank you, Lisa. And looking
bye,
forward to
Perry.
making the
I
proposal
hope
again
to-
next week for Lisa and Duane to be the new people on Planet
Thank you
IT.
much.
Okay. Awesome.
Thanks so
Well,
much,
thanks, everybody.
Lisa, and good job with Alien World. That's great. Thank you very much
Yes.
to join.
I
As she
dropped
dropped
you.
it.
Sorry.
Yes.
And
I know,
Rosemary,
Alright.
thank you to
From the
join.
side.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are
All right.
Yes.
in-
See you flying around.
Okay, cool. See you flying
Okay.
and see you all flying
See-
out there. Thank you so much.
Woo!
See ya.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
Oh, yeah.
Hallelujah! Hey, hey, hey! Hello, bye.
Bye.